call is now being recorded.
Yo, yo.
Alright, what's up?
Ain't nothing much. Episode 2 in the building. Hopefully we've worked out the technical difficulties that we're able to work out. So
Right.
Now we're rolling, so by the time this is up, we should be all verified on iTunes, so everybody go subscribe, like how you hear on other podcasts. Go subscribe on iTunes. Follow us on SoundCloud. We got the Facebook page, Twitter account, Tumblr. You can get all that at channel10podcast.com. If you would like to sponsor us, hit us up, and we can start making this money.
Right.
So, where do we begin? You were in Canada.
Well, I guess first of all, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you. That's right. It is my birthday today. I keep forgetting about that.
Yeah. So, have you done anything, or do you plan to do anything?
I just chill with the wifey. Went to go see what's that movie? Get Hard with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell.
Okay, now how was that? It looks like some niggery going on.
I thought it was good, actually. It was, it was funny and it was kind of thought-provoking. I thought, when I was watching it, I was kind of thinking of the movie Trading Places. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just the differences in class, and basically, I guess the stereotypes that, that different races and different classes and just different groups of people have of each other. And I know like a lot of that caused a lot of controversy because I think black people were upset and, gay people were upset. But I think it's important for people to remember that, at the end of the day, it's a comedy. And, I think laughing at things is a way for everybody to learn about each other, not to sound all corny and all of that. But it was really funny. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Okay, that's good. Did the wife enjoy it as well?
Yeah. She did too. It was it was a good one. I'm very selective about my movies, and especially when it comes to comedies. But I thought this was pretty well done. It showed I think what we both appreciated about it is that it showed a diverse spectrum of, I guess, the black experience. It wasn't, like you had your middle class type of black people, and then, there was a little bit of the thug type black people, and then you had, on the same token, you had your rich white people, and then you had your, I guess, racist biker type of white people. It kind of showed all aspects of everybody and made fun of everybody. And, I think, one thing to take away from it, is that, you can't always judge a book by its cover. So, yeah.
Cool. So do you think this is better than the other Kevin Hart movie you saw last year, I think?
Oh yeah, that was the one with Ice Cube. I can't think of the name. Was it better? I don't know. They were so different. I can't say that one was better than the other. I guess just seeing it, more recently, and just because it's, fresher in my memory, I think I do like this one a bit more.
Okay.
I think I do like that. What I'm curious to see is, Kevin Hart step out of comedic acting and take more serious roles. I think it's, after this run of comedies, I think it's about time for him to start making that jump. And I think he has said something to that effect, that, he's trying to do that one day. So I think that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, I can see that, actually. I was the other day I was thinking about Will Smith for whatever reason, and I think we had a conversation about this maybe a year or two ago about right, yeah, you were telling me about I think some podcast you were listening to and how he decides the movies that he's going to star in.
Oh yeah.
That weird, that crazy algorithm system or whatever it is, and I was sitting there thinking about all these movies that he's been in and all this other type of stuff. Independence Day, the Men in Black thing, Hancock, being a fucking superhero, and all the money that he's made in Hollywood. And then you think about it, and then I guess the more serious roles he's played. If you think about Ali and The Pursuit of Happiness, I know at least in Ali he was nominated for an Oscar. I think he was for The Pursuit of Happiness, too.
That was a great movie.
And the thing is, whenever it's on, I try to watch it, and someone always interrupts me, or I end up going to sleep for some reason. But so far, from what I've seen, it does seem like a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sitting here like wondering when is he going to, I guess, really break out and do that one big movie that gets him that Oscar.
That's a great question. And what's he's really weird in a sense, the way his career is, because he started off as kind of I guess you would say a comedic type of rapper. Then he goes and does Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which is one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. And then he starts doing movies, and, he became the biggest and highest paid actor in Hollywood. But then I saw a list recently of movies that he's turned down, and I'm trying to find the list now. I only see two of them now. But these are two of the hugest movies ever.
Matrix.
The Matrix.
Yeah.
And Django.
He turned down Django?
He turned down Django.
I did not know that.
Yep.
Damn. And, when I was thinking about him, too, he seems like, I guess, he's like one of those balanced, I guess, artistic, he's one of those artistically balanced black individuals, like a Jamie Foxx and an Eddie Murphy.
Yeah. And
because you think about it, like even in the hardcore hip hop head type of circles, people do recognize his musical intuition and his lyricism to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And then he's seen as a pretty good actor and all this and that and stuff like that. But I always wondered where his career period, whether it was music or whatever, where it would have gone if he did The Matrix, or would have just killed him, like how kind of did Keanu Reeves.
That's a great point. I do think, I don't know, I think it would have been bigger had it been Will Smith, because The Matrix was groundbreaking on so many fronts. Of course, technologically and, cinematically with the special effects and everything. And then, with the whole storyline and all of that. But then, in terms of diversity and having, black people in prominent roles, of course, black person wasn't the lead role, but had he stepped in and actually taken that lead role, just for black people in the sci-fi genre, it would have definitely, I think it would have spurred earlier more black sci-fi movies and, content and everything like that. And I think it would have really cemented him as a legend. And of course, he was in, iRobot, and I guess I Am Legend is kind of sci-fi too. But neither one of those movies had the cultural impact of The Matrix. I think it would have really catapulted him to. I mean, it's crazy because you can't really say catapulted him to, I was going to say like a John Travolta, I don't know, like whoever the biggest movie star is, because, you know, I don't really know people like that. I mean, he's already the biggest movie star, or at least was for a long time, but it would have made the bar so much higher for what the biggest movie star is. So, well, I was reading something recently that says that, you know, his last couple movies didn't really do too well, or, you know, big blockbuster numbers, and is he ever really going to have another one? So,
well, I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people say that. People say that all the time. So I don't know what to say about that.
I do know that Will Smith is in the studio with Kanye West.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they've had some pictures recently, and I think somebody said Will Smith is, you know, working on some music, but he doesn't really like anything they've come up with, so he's still trying to find his sound. So.
Okay, well, you know that what's that song that the Switch song, Switch, from the Hitch soundtrack?
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
Do you know that KD from Naughty by Nature produced that track?
I did not know that.
Yeah, I was listening to Naughty by Nature, trashing KD from on the Juan Epstein, and I think they brought it up, but also I didn't know that JD was like really pivotal shit in Jaheem's career, and so he produced I think his first 3 albums.
Jaheem?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because apparently, you know, when they had like the big breakup or whatever, I guess they all parted ways. He went on to like start a production company. He picked up Jaheim, and I think someone else, and he focused on Jaheim. I think some other R&B people. So I'm assuming he doesn't really need Naughty by Nature anymore.
I mean, apparently they're not getting along too well anyway. So you know, I'm glad to see that he's still getting it. Where is Jaheim? Is he locked up?
No, he came out with an album I think a year or two ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's still doing it. I'm thinking about Life. Life is locked up.
Oh yeah. Is he ever coming out?
I don't know. I remember he did that last album before he went to jail, and
That's pretty depressing.
I think he has a lot of years. How do you spell his name? Lyfe, Life Jennings. Yeah, I believe. Oh, he's 41, according to Google. But yeah, I think he got a substantial amount of years. For what, I don't really know. Looking at his Wikipedia page now. 1992, he went to prison. Served a little over 10 years. Yeah, it doesn't say anything, but I thought he did get locked up. Maybe not. He came out with an album in 2013, and he came out with one, supposedly last year, that says 10 years later.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, Gucci Mane comes out with albums still to this day, so.
Oh man, Gucci Mane just dropped. Gucci Mane dropped like 4 albums last week.
God damn, man.
They're all named after food. Hold on. Not food, but like meals. Like he has like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He dropped all those at once, and then like a couple days later, he dropped dessert.
Now I wonder if they're at the point that it's doing this to keep his name relevant, or are they like trying to get more money for his books or something?
I don't know. I mean, I think all of his, I think it was last year or this year, whatever the latest Forbes list was, I think he did enough numbers from jail to make the Forbes list.
Yeah, he did. That shit's amazing. Crazy, man.
Man, I think he had a bunch of songs with McConan, so I don't know if somebody's putting these songs together or how they're coming out, so.
Remember that, did you see that, it's an interview, that I think was Complex, I think it was, I'm pretty sure it's Complex they had with his manager or his artist, his A&R person or whoever it was, and he was talking about like the process.
I didn't see the interview.
Okay, well, it was pretty much, I think like the title line was like, why and how Gucci Mane is making millions while in jail or something like that. And we talked about like the manager and like the whole thing with it, and how Gucci Mane has like a mixture of like the actual songs that he already made, and then just like some vocals that he did a cappella and recorded. And they just put him to like certain beats. And he's been working with Zaytoven a lot before. He worked with him before he when he knew that he was going to jail and stuff like that. And he said something like they have enough music to keep putting out music at the same rate that they're doing now for like a good, like I think he said 5 to 8, 10 to 10 years or something like that.
Wow, I do remember that quote from it. Now that you mention it, yeah. I mean, that's on some Tupac type work ethic. I mean, I heard that Gucci Mane didn't have a house, that he just lived in the studio on the couch and just recorded all day. Which I guess if you're going to jail, that's good to do.
Yeah, it's true, man. I mean, it's working for him. It worked for Tupac. I see that he's coming to some new unreleased music and some more poetry coming out.
Yeah, I did see that, and I see that the rumor is spelled. There was the rumor that Roc Nation and Jay-Z bought all of his albums and unreleased music. That was actually false, but the people in charge of his music did say that they do have new Tupac music coming. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know either, man.
I have several gigabytes of Tupac music. I have like all those 16, 17 Machiavellis and all that unreleased stuff.
Yeah, but I think I got it from you a while ago.
Yeah.
I have yet to listen to it.
I've skimmed through most of it, and every once in a while I'll come across a track that I really like, or I'll come across a track that I heard the vocals, more clearly on a beat that was too updated for what he was saying. And if they would have kept the same vibe, it probably would have been a bit better. But speaking of Tupac, that Juan Epstein where they were talking about Biggie, I thought it was hilarious when they played that one song that Biggie and Tupac recorded, and Rosenberg was saying this is the most Tupac verse ever, because like it was like enemies, and you know how Tupac does with the end of his syllables on certain words, and then he rhymed like two of those same rhymes like in the same verse, and I thought that was funny. But people always come at him for not being that great of a lyricist or a technical rapper, but I mean, listening to a lot of his songs, I mean, I think his flows are kind of ill, and he switches it up a little bit, and lyrically, I mean, he's not like a punchline type of guy, but he gets his point across really well, and it's not that simple. So I don't know. I think that he doesn't get his respect as a lyricist.
Yeah, that was like a really off-kilter episode of Juan Epstein. Like, going into it, I thought it was like an actual professional type of thing. Like, they had like a whole bunch of people just talking about him. Which actually I was pretty happy that they didn't, because I get kind of tired of hearing about Biggie and Tupac, and I think it was Rosenberg. No, it was I think Combat Jack. He made the comment, I think with I can't think of his name, but he's the guy that's like working on Revolt TV with Diddy.
Oh,
about
yeah.
And Combat Jack said, come on, man, be truthful. Because everyone was supposed to be in a car with Biggie, And which is true. That's all you hear. Man, let me tell you something, man. Man, I was talking to him hours before, nigga, hours before. I was supposed to be in the car with him. That's all you ever hear. Like, it drops the wall because, you know, half these niggas are lying.
And the crazy thing is, everybody was talking to him hours before. This is before the proliferation of cell phones. So, was he just convening, a nigga council meeting? And this is where everybody was talking to him hours before? I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it is interesting how people kind of seem to exaggerate their Biggie affiliations, after the fact, and now he's gone.
Yeah. You know, Lord Finesse, have you listened to the newest one, Epstein?
Not the whole way through. I haven't. I'm probably about almost halfway through now.
Okay. You know what's funny that I pretty much listened to every Juan Epstein within the span of about, I think, 2 months and a little bit of change. I mean,
wow.
Well, there was some. I mean, some of the comedians I just didn't listen to because I don't care.
Yeah.
But yeah, every hip hop one I've listened to, and so now I'm at the point that I gotta wait for the episode to drop, and I don't like it. But toward the end, Lord Finesse, he mentioned, because they asked him about, the main thing that he remembers about Big L, and he did mention something about how now, since all the rappers, a lot of rappers nowadays, they say that, oh, he was my man, and Finesse said he doesn't remember ever seeing him around Big L when he was alive. And he says it's one of the biggest things that's that burns him up inside when he thinks about it. And so I can imagine, man. But but going back to the Pac thing and him getting this point across, I listened to the Lil Boosie Combat Jack.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something about Lil Boosie. There is. And, if I had to say, I would probably call him that's what they call him anyway, a Southern Tupac. And he even says that, the reason why his music, he thinks at least why his music resonates is because it's not always focused on trying to make someone dance. He wants you to feel it in your heart. Or what he's saying.
Yeah.
And, I can see that.
I mean, how much Lil Boosie have you listened to?
You know what? It's not a lot. When have you listened to that episode?
I did listen to it.
Okay, well, do you remember when he mentioned Baltimore and how he's there all the time?
Yeah. And I remember when I heard that, it just made sense. Everything clicked, because if people don't know, there was a time, and probably still now, every little dude in Baltimore had that Boosie haircut.
That's very true. And everyone had it. One of those mixtapes. I don't know, but I probably listened to 2 or 3 Boosie mixtapes in my day.
Oh,
so I have listened to a lot.
Yeah. I don't know. Because people like him so much and, they regard his music so highly, I try to listen and I try to find songs here and there that I like, and I have been finding a couple. I think one thing that always kind of turned me off from him was his voice. It just grates on my ears sometimes. But, I don't know. I'm curious to see what this new album that he has is going to sound like. I think he has a release date and it's coming out soon. I did like that one single that he had when he first came out of jail. So
yeah, surprisingly, it was on the radio. I couldn't imagine that type of song being on the radio.
People love Boosie, especially
I know. But also speaking of Lord Finesse, I never really thought about it. I think The War Report is one of those albums I've never really looked at the production credits really thoroughly because I just kind of assumed that Havoc and Kadai and Tragedy just handled all the production, but I didn't know that Channel 10 was produced by Lord Finesse.
Wow.
Yeah, because he mentions it on that podcast, and it doesn't really sound like a Lord Finesse beat to me. It sounds like more of a Tragedy beat, especially the drums.
Yeah, and it's so like laid back, kind of. But I don't know. I think that's a credit to the producer, though, to switch up your style when you're dealing with different types of artists.
I mean, yeah, but because I'm still on the fence about whether Suicidal Thoughts to me is like a Lord Finesse type of beat or not. Because to me, the drums don't exactly sound like a Lord Finesse type of. Because like Lord Finesse to me, he has like his drums and like his bass is like really funky. They aren't really like they aren't slow and droning and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, like, because I think that's because maybe you're thinking of DITC Lord Finesse,
Yeah.
And it's like when he's around them, his style kind of fits that. But, when he's contracted out or, is making music outside of his circle, it probably switches up a little bit more.
That's true. I can see that.
I don't know, like, that's Suicidal Thoughts. That's a monster.
Yeah, man. Yeah. It's actually one of those songs I really can't listen to all the time. And actually, I have a really small story about it. So I'm in Oklahoma. As we know. Sometimes I can't smoke in my place, so I go outside and smoke. I'm smoking a cigar. I have, a glass of whiskey out. And I tend to listen to a podcast when I'm outside on the porch smoking and doing whatever, reading. So I had the Combat Jack on with Lord Finesse is on it. And they play, they'll play like certain Biggie cuts, that he did. And when it seemed like whenever they'll play some type of like really ignorant shit, a couple of white people will always walk past the house. And for some reason, this is like a day, my hair is like really crazy. It was like, I don't know what the fuck happened. My hair was like crazy. And I guess I had maybe like 2 whiskeys or whatever like that. I'm sitting there chilling, I'm standing up, and then they play Suicidal Thoughts, and then in my head, I'm like, damn, I haven't heard this shit in a good minute. So I was like, that beat's crazy. So I was nodding my head pretty hard, smoking. Maybe I was smoking my cigar harder, pulling on it a bit harder. And there had to be like 4 white girls that walked past. And they saw me, and they stopped their conversation. And their eyes got big, and they started walking faster. Oh my, it was the funniest shit ever, man. Oh my God.
Oh man.
And of course, because they came in like at the very beginning. Fuck it. When he starts off like that, I'm a piece of fucking shit. Something. Yeah. So
I can tell.
Yeah, man. So it was interesting.
Speaking of, I guess let's get into it now because we didn't. First, let me ask you how you feel about the version of Suicidal Thoughts that was on the Biggie Duets album. You remember that?
I don't remember that. The only thing I remember off that album is that bullshit single that had Crazy Bone on it.
Oh yeah.
And you can. Oh God.
I mean the album. I like the album actually, the Biggie Duets, and the Suicidal Thoughts that they had. It didn't have the Diddy ad libs in the back, but it had it was a Marvin Gaye. Not Marvin Gaye. It was a Bob Marley sample, and it was real dark, and it was Biggie featuring Bob Marley, and they had them together, and I really liked it. I mean, a lot of people probably thought it was sacrilegious or offensive or something like that, but I thought it was dope the way they did that.
I mean, well, when you mean like sacrilegious, do you mean because Bob Marley's for righteousness and you had this nigga talking about killing himself?
I mean, partly that and partly just because of the, I mean, you know, a lot of people consider that whole album to be sacrilegious just because you have somebody of this iconic stature and you're placing them with people who they may or may not have gotten along with or would have even done a song with, you know, had they still been alive. And then, you know, Bob Marley being gone, you know, just basically taking somebody who's gone, who doesn't have any more control over their music, and somebody who's considered to be a genius and an icon, and just, you know, doing what you want to do with their art.
Okay. What was I going to say about that damn album? Man, like I don't know, like I got really turned off by the album, like especially when I saw the video for the single with him and Crazy Bone, and like the video was corny too. And then, you know, it was fresh off of his, you know, thing, his Riding Dirty verse. So of course, that's probably one thing why it was, you know, it happened the way it did. But I'm not entirely. I think maybe it was around the same time. I think it kind of had to be. I'm not sure, but. It's either I hoped or I wished that the Biggie Duets album was going to be kind of like the Ghost Stage joint off of Fish Scale.
Oh yeah. Matter of fact, I think that was a bonus cut on the Biggie Duets album. You talking about the joint with Raekwon and Biggie?
They had Raekwon on it too?
Yeah. Ghostface, Raekwon, and Biggie. That joint was hard.
Yeah, I mean, it was. And so, I mean, I thought that it would be like real Biggie. I mean, because, I mean, if anything, I can accept that at least. But, how the fuck did they even get that? How did they get that verse anyway?
I don't know.
That's a really good question.
And it was interesting because you know, the history of, you know, in the 90s when everybody was throwing shots at each other, and you know, that infamous skit from Supreme Clientele when he said, you know, niggas bit off Nas shit.
Yeah, well, that's not the point. Is that Shark Niggas?
Yeah. Shark Biters, I think that's what it was.
Oh yeah, Cuban Links, yeah.
Cuban Links, yeah, my bad. I said Supreme Clientele. But yeah, and so, you know, that whole tension. It was funny because Method Man talked about that in the interview that he did with Hot 97, where he was talking about how, you know, certain people in the clan wouldn't speak to Biggie and stuff like that, you know, just off the strength, but he always did. And I guess that kind of goes back to, I mean, you know, I believe Method Man, but, you know, it kind of goes back to everybody's Biggie story.
Yeah, sure.
Everybody has something to say, but one interesting thing that Method Man did say was, he did say that when they recorded the What, he was like, man, Biggie wrote his shit. I saw him. He wrote his shit down. So, you know. And then it was some podcast I was listening to recently where the person was, I forgot who it was, but they said sometimes Biggie did write, or he would try to write, because it would be pen and paper in the studio, but then they say like his best stuff, he just thought of it in his head, so.
Oh, you know, I think that was a Combat Jack interview, I think.
Yeah. Who was it with? It was with, I can't even think of who it was with. It was a recent one, though.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But going back to your Oklahoma story about the white girls, we didn't really get into the recent controversies at University of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Where you are. So I just wanted to get your thoughts as someone of color who's down there and messed up it all.
Yeah. So I'll do this, and then I'll get to Canada because I went like on a small rant the other day about this shit.
Okay.
Okay. So did I tell you about the? I told you about the hip hop lecture, right? That I went to.
Mhm.
Okay, and then did I go any further about me talking to the guy after the lecture?
A little bit, because you were talking about how you thought it was going to be some BS at first, but it seemed cool and all of that.
Okay. All right. So first of all, when it happened, when it happened, I was sitting typing in my computer or whatever, and I get a text about it from a friend of mine around here. And then he sent like a group text for pretty much all the other people that were on my phone who are of color. So we had kind of small conversation about damn, that's fucked up. After that happens, the president of the university, he instantly he puts out some shit saying, it won't be tolerated, he's going to fix it. Then the next morning there's a long email about it. Putting the president saying what he did and all this other type of shit. He shut the whole fraternity down I think within hours. And did other things too. But while all this happened, the same night when it all came to light, what happened, you get also within that text message, it was an invitation to a protest that was happening 7:00 in the morning the next day about it. And so in my head, I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. I said, all right, protest, all right, cool. But then I'm telling you, the next day, the president does everything. He shuts them down. He suspends all the people, and he goes one by one with this video, and he finds these people, at least all of them for the most part, and he expels them. So I'm like, all right, well, cool. The president did his thing. All right, cool, whatever. So then, next thing you know, I hear about another fucking protest that's going to happen the next day. And I'm like, okay. I said, all right, I'll give him this protest. Next day, fucking protest. I'm like, look, all right, and I was getting really upset about this shit because there's no point. Why are you sitting there yelling and hooping and hollering? You can't do it because the president already did what he did. They're gone. And it didn't help that we had news people, CNN, NBC, ABC, the local news channels from around Oklahoma, all here, all day, every day. Just out looking for people to talk to with bands and shit, cameras everywhere, whatever like that. And then I hear about preachers, a whole bunch of a congregation of preachers got together or whatever, and then they're talking about there should be some type of large study done on all universities on, racism and shit like that. Like people don't know about it. And so that kind of pissed me off because, it seems like they just want to be in the limelight just talking about racism. And then I didn't want to do this, but then I go on CNN or whatever like that, on the news, on the fucking website. And because my mother was telling me about, she saw some fat chubby dude protesting or whatever like that. And so I go and see this shit, and a whole bunch of, it wasn't I guess a lot, but it was some black people protesting. And then one of the niggas in the front, he looked like a fucking preacher, had the glasses on, haircut, the suit on, looking like fucking Martin Luther King.
He's trying to start his political career. So
right.
What were they protesting?
They were protesting racism. Just being really general because they can't do anything else because the president already did what the fuck he did. You should probably be happy that the president did what he did.
Now, I can see point by point, if you come with a point by point thing of what you're protesting, I could see if you're coming at the fraternity structure. I could see, there's a list of, I think, systemic things to actually be protesting, but I don't think protesting is the way to go about doing anything about that particular thing. I think protesting is to get, awareness to the situation, but people are already aware of it. So I definitely see your point on that. I don't know.
Okay, well,
protesting is all the rage now.
it is. All right. So this was kind of like the final straw for me. I'm walking to Starbucks, you know, and the day before, or 2 days, the day before, I experienced, you know, every day I walk around here, I experience some type of prejudice. So the day before the final straw happened, you know, I'm walking, and I had maybe like, you know, 5 or 6 books in my hand, you know, I'm trying to work on this paper or whatever like that, walking to the Starbucks. There's two older white women in front of me. One of the white women, she looks back and she notices me. And then so her eyes get kind of big. And I don't know if it's because she thought we wanted to attack her or because, you know, I'm a nigga with books. And I know it's probably even more scary than a nigga trying to attack her. So, you know, I'm walking, you know, I'm doing what I do. And so, you know, I even stopped, you know, I reached up for my books because they were about to fall or whatever like that. But, you know, both of my hands were occupied. I couldn't attack her. So, we're walking, and I kind of like, you know, walk up. You know, walking kind of slow and they were talking. But anyway, the other woman, she was talking to her. She had to repeat what she said to her because she was so focused looking back at me every other second. And then so they were walking so slow that I kind of got up on them. And so when she turned back again, I was kind of like right there. And then her eyes got really big. And she almost walked into a tree. and the thing was like, and so when that happened, the woman was like, "What's wrong?" Like the other woman who was talking to her, "What's wrong?" And so she turned, her eyes got big. And so I looked at both of them. I just shook my head and just kept on walking because this is ridiculous. Like, I mean, even when I go to Starbucks sometimes, I'll see some white people see me, you know, I have like 10 books stacked. They just look at me like I'm not supposed to be there, and they just don't understand why I have these books or how I even got them. So I'm telling you, like, the way they look at me, this is how I feel. And then even I'm going to like the counseling center on campus. I get, you know, I'm coming out of the counseling office. And, you know, I get on the elevator, these other 2 white people, they see me. They didn't want to go in the elevator, but I guess they felt like they had to because I held the door for them like I was a fucking elevator man. And
hold on. So you being a former Starbucks employee, I don't know if you've heard about the Race Together campaign that they had.
No, what's up?
Oh man! So I think it was what's his name, Charles Schultz.
Howard Schultz.
Howard Schultz, yeah. He took out an ad and he basically had this whole campaign. I think Common was part of it too. So basically, he was like, you know, we need to have a conversation about race in this country. And it should happen at Starbucks. So he wanted the baristas to write #RaceTogether on, and they didn't have to do it, but, you know, if they wanted to do it, they could do it. Write #RaceTogether when they give a customer a coffee cup and try to start a conversation about race.
Okay, you know what? All right, this kind of relates to my final straw because the day after that shit happened, when I'm walking, I see a cameraman. I'm walking past the cameraman. The cameraman is like taking this large shot of the university. And then I was going to keep walking. I said, no, don't ask him anything. But I just couldn't resist. I asked him, like, why is he here? He told me because the preachers were coming or something like that, and they were about to talk about race. And so I said, oh, man, fuck this. And then I see one of my black friends at Starbucks were talking, you know, because as soon as he saw me, he went straight to my table. He almost like dropped his MacBook and said, "Nigga, did you hear what happened? What do you think?" So we're talking. Next thing we know, we see a white girl on the corner with a fucking like one of those those poster paper things, holding it up it had something on it, and people were coming up talking to her, and then we see a cameraman running over to the girl, whatever like that, and he went outside, the guy told me what it said, and it said something about how do you feel about race or some shit like that. So, after that, I eventually got left, and then I worked on an op-ed sent to the New York Times about it, and about my experiences being in Norman, Oklahoma, and saying like this shit is not that serious because it always happens every day. And pretty much in the op-ed I said, if you pick a black person out and ask them how they're treated here, they could probably tell you the same thing. So then this goes to the hip hop lecture. I meet up with the guy. I'm talking to him, and he was actually, before the hip hop lecture, he had taping. He did like a live taping of Democracy Now! Talking about what happened. And so we were talking, and so him and me and him were talking. Then this other guy comes up, and they're kind of like involved in like the black shit that the black associations around here. And mind you, there's like 4 or 5 different black organizations. So first of all, just thinking about that, that's kind of crazy. That makes no sense. Why are there 5 different black organizations?
Now, my question is, how many black organizations are all the black people in? Is anybody a member of all 4? Or they all just all the same people, but with different names on different days?
This is what I was told. I was told that, and I was right. I was right that I asked them. None of the black organizations do anything. They don't really do anything. But also, he told me that what has happened is that you have a certain sector of the the main one, the Black Student Association or whatever it's called. They get mad at something, they don't like how it's run, and so they go off and they make their own black organization, pretty much built on the same shit. So it's nothing but factionalism, pretty much.
I see. So another question I have about just the racial landscape down there. I listened to a podcast I like called the Mandatory Sampson podcast, and they were talking about it. And they were talking about one of the kids' apologies or whatever. And I don't know if you heard that.
I've heard about it.
Yeah, they played it, and then they were talking about how he had to go and, he talked to the black leaders. And they kept saying the black leaders and who are the black leaders. And they said something about he had to apologize to the captains of the football team or something like that. Or he had to have a conversation with them. And then it was like, why do you have to do that? And it's like, at a school like this, they're recruiting black people to be on the football team, so that's basically like a black organization.
Man,
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how true that is, but it just you gotta go apologize to the football team. And then there was that one guy I heard that they were trying to recruit to the football team, and he was like, "Nah, I'm not going there."
But where did But he decides to go to Mississippi or some shit.
Something like that.
We were talking. Me and my mother were talking about it, and I said that's even worse. You're going deeper into the South, dumbass. Man,
haven't you ever heard of Big Crit album?
Yeah, man.
What's his name? David Banner.
man, all you gotta do is think of the fucking Jay Electronica line, man. He said, down south they call me white man because I hang MCs. But yeah, so they both told me that I think 2 days prior to me talking to them, all the leaders of the associations, they had a meeting about what's going on and what they're going to do about it. But the thing is, though, none of them can get along because they don't agree with what's been going on. And the main thing is about the airtime that one particular organization is getting, and it's called OU Unheard. And okay, so this is the thing about OU Unheard, because I cut the dude off and I said, look, I don't recall even hearing about OU Unheard amongst the Confederation of Black Associations on OU's campus. So I'm pretty sure that they're brand new, right? He says, yeah, they are brand new. He told me they're like 3 to 4 months old. And he said that what happened was, for some reason, someone happened to give them that tape or whatever happened. And they put it up, and they got all the airtime. So when these CNN motherfuckers started coming down here, they wanted to talk to OU and her. They really didn't want to talk to any other black organization. And it makes all the other organizations mad because they can't get any airtime. And so they're trying to tell them, like, look, you need to, like, have someone else come up in there and talk too, and not just y'all. And the thing is, OU Unheard is made up of, I was told mostly, like, sophomore and freshmen. And, you know, they're really young, and so they pretty much, when they come to these meetings, they go in there and they think they run everything because they're like the hot black organization, pretty much. So, and then also there's like an African organization too. In the African organization, they went up in there and said, I hear that they came up in there and just said, y'all never think about us when y'all are doing these things, and they kind of like kicked them out of the room.
That's terrible.
Yeah, and so, you know, the guy said, you know, the meeting, it involved a lot of people crying, getting mad, fights started about to break out, people leaving, slamming doors, and
sounds like an episode of Boondocks.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same shit we always talk about. And also, I said, well, I mean, do you guys have like maybe you guys need like an older influence? And they were like, nigga, we already had that, because they still had people who already graduated, people who are like in their 30s and 40s, who came back and who are still kind of affiliated. So they came back to the meetings, and when they saw what was going on, they walked out and said they're not dealing with it. So they're gone.
Maybe you need to be the one.
I mean, well, they told, I mean, well, this is what I did. I said, look, because the guy said it was kind of funny that, because he's from Oakland, I'm from Baltimore, and the other guy was from Chicago, and we all come from, you know, really sketchy areas. Yeah. And so I told him, I said, maybe what y'all need to do is y'all just need to sit down and have like a little powwow about the things that all of you guys have experienced when it comes to prejudice. To seeing a certain white person, whoever it may be, treat you in a different way, so you guys can come together. And so we ended up having a little powwow about the things that we experienced. So I told him about my thing with like the tree and the two white ladies, and I think this one was even worse. It snowed down here. It was like really icy on the campus. And the guy from Chicago, he comes out from I think he's an actor. He comes out from like the studio, whatever he was coming from. He had like a hoodie on because it was cold outside. He had a hoodie on his head. He had like sweats on or whatever like that. He was walking. There was like a white guy who was walking too, and he was walking on the ice. He had like his MacBook. It wasn't like in the case or anything like that. It was just in his hand. And he's walking, but then he turns his head. He sees him. He starts walking faster on the ice. And so the dude said he said he knows that the guy's going to fall. So the guy starts walking faster because he sees that he's approaching. I guess he was walking a bit faster than the white guy. The white guy looks back again. He slips. He goes all the way up in the air. The MacBook goes up in the air and just comes down, just crashes and breaks in half.
Oh man!
And then so the black guy goes up there. He helps him up. And he brushes him off like, oh man, I'm sorry about your MacBook, sir. And he picks up both parts of the MacBook and just hands it to him. He said like, I hope you have insurance, and walks off. He said his jaws dropped when he helped him up. He didn't know what to do with himself.
He probably thought he was about to die.
He probably did. So, I mean, in a nutshell, this is how I feel. Because, I told your white counterpart one day, because I went like on a little rant about this, like in somewhere else. And he was telling me that like some of his black students were showing up out of nowhere with like, oh, you unheard, some type of, black power protest shit, shirts or whatever like that. And they only do it. It's a trend. It's all it is. People do this shit because it's a cool thing to do. And it really gets on my nerves because when shit dies down, no one cares about anything. They go back to church, they go back to their mosques, whatever, and they live their lives. And they don't think about any of the shit that goes on.
It's kind of like, how conservatives always come at, the liberal culture of this type of shit. Like, it's just a whole bunch of people trying to exploit their, either real or perceived, slights to, their benefit and try to, pop off of that some type of way and try to capitalize off of it. And, it's politically incorrect to say anything against it. Like, I'm sure the way that we're speaking now, somebody might call you like an Uncle Tom or something like that, like for questioning their protesting. But, everything that you're saying is making logical sense.
I mean, yeah, and, it was a good thing because, I started reading the iPad like around 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30. And something told me, because I was going to say fuck it, because I just wanted to get their attention, although it was still kind of rough, but they could see the idea, and then they'd send it back to me and tell me to edit it, then I would do it. And I was going to send it off, but something told me to call my mother. And so, like, surprisingly, she woke up and she told me the possible repercussions of sending it, and pretty much saying, I am affiliated with the university, so I could probably get in trouble if I do it. So, yeah, I didn't send it off, but I still have it as a Google Doc. So maybe if something else pops off and I'm not affiliated with anything, I'll revisit it. But also, what's interesting, I forgot to tell you this. Like 2 or 3 days ago, 2 or 3 days after that, all that shit happened, there was an email that was circulated amongst like the history faculty here. And it was from, I can't think of his name. I still have the email somewhere. I can probably forward it to you when I find it. But it's like this guy talking about, like the final extermination. And pretty much he's saying that, all black people have to be exterminated in order for these types of things to cease. And so the chair of the department, he circulated it around through the entire department, just letting us know that this type of shit is out there.
So what was the source of the email?
I don't know. Some guy. But I think he's some type of local guy around here in these parts.
It kind of reminds me like, I guess it's a hobby of mine to peruse racist websites and see what they're saying about us, and it's real. Like, it's really real out here. Like, people, I always wonder, like, and people comment on the articles and stuff, and, they call us all kind of things like monkeys, and, they go into these scientific explanations about why we're not humans and all this other type of stuff, like, and I always wonder, who are the people behind the keyboard? Like, are these the people that I'm walking by every day and working with in the office and all this type of stuff, and even like, my girlfriend, like, she, follows, Fox 45 on Facebook, and a lot of times when a news story comes out, about some type of, are just ridiculous, like all the racism that's in the comments. And, you know, these are people locally in this area, you know, who are paying attention to Fox 45. And so, you know, that goes to show that wherever you are, it's out here and it's real and it's enforced. And there are people who are working to, or if not working, thinking daily about how to exterminate us. And sometimes that makes me quite uneasy.
Man, look, I was in, did I tell you about when I went to a reception? My advisor's reception?
Was that the one at the house, or is that something else? Oh, no, that's the end of it. I don't know if you told me about this one.
Okay, well, yeah, it was at my advisor's house. We had like a job talk here, whatever, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking of, oh, fuck it. Because I mentioned to someone that, you know, doing a podcast, so I don't.
Oh.
Maybe I'll let you know about that off there.
Okay.
It's nothing really serious, but, you know, let's say if someone wants to listen to it, I mean, you know, I'm not trying to self-incriminate myself. Just in case.
I mean, I guess the moral of the story, the shit is real.
Shit is real. But, you know, I'm thinking, I mean, I don't know which one is my, you know, I told you, you know, like my number one pet peeve in the whole wide world next to a racist is someone who walks around with a suit on, with the suitcase, and he only has his lunch in the suitcase. He doesn't do anything else. He just walks around in the suit. It drives me up the fucking wall, and I don't know what's worse. Niggas protesting just to protest because it's a trend, or a nigga walking around with a suit for no reason. So I don't know. I think maybe the protesters for no reason. Maybe that's number one, and maybe the nigga in the suit is number two. I'm not sure yet. But I guess on a lighter note, let's get to Canada, because this shit just, I mean, it really upsets me. It just drives me up a fucking wall. Like, I really get upset about this shit. And so sometimes, you know, when I talk about it, I just gotta stop talking about it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just want to, like, go to a protest with a megaphone, just talk about all the niggas that are protesting, and then I'm like, and I just want to be like, look, in the next week when all this shit dies, then you're going to go back to your happy-ass, black-ass lives and not even think about this shit.
You're going to be in the club, you're going to be watching a football game, you're going to be trying to find out where the weed and the bitches at, and you're going to be turning up.
Right. Yeah, man. So, I guess on Canada.
Right.
Interesting. You know, I had quite a bit of Ivy Leaguers too. One from Yale, one from Harvard. Had Cornell, Princeton, and actually I was the youngest person there too. But it's interesting too because there were like three gay guys there, and one of the gay guys he's Apache. He's Apache. He looks like Geronimo's son for real, and he wears like lipstick too. So that he was an interesting dude. He was. But yeah, you know, we went through the Hudson's Bay archives and stuff like that. On the fur trade, seeing how like certain things were, you know, certain people there, they did have actual research topics that were related to Canada and the fur trade. I didn't really. So I looked at this one journal from a fur trading post called Moose Factory from 1938 to 1939. And I figured that, you know, since I don't know much about the fur trade in Canada or even a fur post, I figured that if I just focus on 1 or 2 years at one post, I could probably learn a lot. And so I think the main thing that popped out to me was the fact that there was one entry said that, you know, Dr. So-and-so is inoculating the Indians at the school, because by this time they had like an Indian residential school that came up in 1938. And so I saw that, and like 2 or 3 entries later, or 3 days later rather, there was an outbreak of like smallpox and other diseases within the school. And I'm thinking in my head that, you know, inoculation, you know how it goes, and, you know, if someone gets inoculated, it's not really something normal that you'll really hear about a big outbreak within like 3 days of, you know, of someone being inoculated or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I was told that they, at least in Canada, because I think the United States was a bit different, although Canadians based their Indian boarding school system on the United States system. But there was like a lot of experimentation going on with the Indigenous people in Canada. So when so sometimes they would like inoculate people. They were like the Indians. They were putting like some crazy shit inside of them to see how they react to it. So she told me that 9 times, I was told by like the leaders of the workshop that 9 times out of 10 that's what was going on. And then like the same thing kind of pops up with like dogs, because like their dogs were dying. And it was only on that post where the dogs were dying, not nowhere else in the region. And so there was experimentation going on with animals too. And then you had, you know, Indians up to the 1930s still, you know, still hunting for furs to sell or whatever like that. And every so often there'll be like a couple of Indians who will freeze to death doing this. So it was rather. I learned quite a bit about the fur trade. But yeah, man, it snowed every day, and in Canada they don't put salt down. They put down gravel. You know, because you know the environmental impact that salt has. But you know the gravel gets like really messy. It cakes up on your boots and your shoes and shit like that. I'm really happy that I only bought Tim's over there. That's because like there's ice everywhere, wherever you do. And it was kind of scary because I hopped in the cab when I got out the airport, and it was a First Nations person who was the driver, and he was like speeding. There's all this ice and slush and snow on the ground, and it was kind of weird, to say the least, because then, you know, there were like certain cars sliding on the fucking ice. And he just like whizzing past them at like fucking 40 miles an hour through this slush and ice and on the street and shit.
Now, I guess they're more used to it. Like, do they shut down like how we do?
Oh, no. Nah. But the thing was, though, I mean, actually, no, I'm not even sure how much snow they have to have in order, like, to shut down, because, you know, it's just an everyday thing. It snows every other day, it seems, like, there in the wintertime. But it was interesting, though, because I gave him, like, you know, I never knew, like, I exchanged cash for I exchanged for Canadian money, and you gotta pay a fee for that shit. Never knew it. So, because, you know, the normal exchange rate is like, you know, for every, a Canadian, you know, $1, a Canadian dollar is worth what? How does it go? Like $1.27? Or something like that?
I don't even know. Let me look it up real quick.
I mean, I don't know how to say it. It gets kind of confusing to me.
I guess. Yeah. I guess you would say $1 Canadian equals $1.27 American.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so, you know, so pretty much, you know, I gave him about $80 and I got like $100 something back. But then I had to pay like a $9 fee. It's kind of sucked. So anyway, you know, it snowed every fucking day, and negative 15 degrees Celsius is probably like what, like 20 degrees or 30 degrees, something like that. But
something like that.
But then when it gets like negative 40 Celsius, they say like it's pretty much like the same thing for some reason in Fahrenheit or something like that. It's like, it's really weird. And I never knew that they don't have a dollar bill. They only have dollar coins. And they have a $2 coin as well. So that was rather disturbing because I didn't want to have all the change, and so me trying to get rid of my change when I left involved me buying Bacardi that was on sale in the airport in Winnipeg.
Of course.
Of course, I still have it. I tried absinthe earlier before we started recording. It's interesting. It's not really. I think it's a slightly different high compared to like just regular alcohol.
Yeah, it is. I guess it's more in your head, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I guess I can say. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. But yeah, so well, I'm about to speak through this real quick. 'Cause I'm sure everyone doesn't want to hear about in Canada anyway. Okay, so I made sure I did at least one thing. So I wanted to go to a bar because I feel that wherever you go, I think the fastest way to get the culture of a certain place is by going to a bar.
Right.
So I go to this bar with 2 other people that's like literally like 20 steps away from the hotel that we're in. We get there. It's country music blasting, all this type of shit. I thought I was in Oklahoma for real. Yeah, so they had this one, because when I think of like Canadian music and like I said local scene, I always think of some crazy indie rock type of music or whatever like that. But they have like a pretty big country music scene, at least in Winnipeg. But it's weird. It's kind of crazy, and when you hear them, they sound like they're from Oklahoma. But they had like this one chick, I can't think of her name, but she's like on tour, and her tour consists of her riding around her Honda Civic with her keyboard and writing songs at stop signs. She sang about 2 songs that she wrote at the stop sign, and a lot of her shit, she references coke a lot, coke and weed, a lot of her songs. So she was cool, but then the big one, I think his name is like Bill Everett and the Poor Choices, something Everett and the Poor Choices, and they were actually pretty good. I think it's like the first thing of country music that I really like genuinely liked, and I'm not sure if it's because of it was live or what. I'm thinking if I had to guess, it probably had to be like the drum pattern. I think the drum pattern was a bit more tighter and it's more, I guess, syncopated compared to, I think, normal country music that I'm listening to. So that was interesting. I stayed there by myself because the other 2 guys left after a while. But that was interesting. So anyway, that's pretty much Canada. Let's go to the more. Yeah. So for all the listeners, if you go to Winnipeg, you're gonna and you go to an actual bar, you want to hear live music. You're probably gonna hear country music because I think Winnipeg, if I'm not mistaken, it's deeper in Canada. And Canada has like a big rural community that I'm understanding, and so that's why they have like a big country music scene.
Yeah, I just Googled Canadian country music and I see that they have a Canadian Country Music Association.
Oh, well, they have some type of Canadian country music legend, too. I can't think of his name, but they did like a rendition of one of his songs and people went crazy. Yeah, so yeah, that's Canada in a nutshell, just for the sake of the episode. Let's go to the even more.
I'm planning on making that trip to Canada, not Winnipeg, but
Montreal.
I'm trying to get out there. Not even Montreal. Even though I want to go there too. Toronto. I'm trying to get out there for Carabana this year. Finally, I've been meaning to go for years, but
okay.
That should be right. part of Canada. There's a lot of Caribbean people, and I know that the Caribbean music is real big out there because you know you have people like Cardinal, Official, and all of that.
Right.
And you know Drake seems to be gravitating towards the Caribbean music, so I think OVO Fest might be during Carnival as well, or you know Caravana as well. So
Okay.
I'm thinking about hopping on the megabus, 13 hours to T-Dots.
Oh man, speaking of a bus, oh man, so alright. Okay, well, alright, actually, but there is another element to Canada because I gotta say the best part was last because it's so fucking perfect for this episode. It's so perfect what happened when I was in Minnesota airport. Okay, so to make a long story short, we ended up going to, I guess, what you call the hood in Winnipeg. And of course, it's a primarily Native American community. I do have some pictures too.
Okay, well, first off, I was listening to something recently, and somebody said that Winnipeg is the road to perdition.
What does that mean?
I think it's like the road to hell or something like that.
Okay, well, because the thing is, well, okay, I guess because have you seen the movie Road to Perdition with I think Tom Hanks?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's actually a pretty good movie. Okay, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I can see it. There was like a lot of shit going on in Winnipeg, and pretty much, I mean, it's the same story. So, the primary people of color, just in Winnipeg, it's the indigenous people. They're like a third of the population, 80,000 of them. They were displaced and they were moved into other areas, and they, you know, it was poverty. Because pretty much like I'm in the business district. Where I was, there wasn't really any trash. When you go to these areas, there's trash on the ground. You know, they're boarded up houses and shit like that. But they have like a lot of murals, like Native American murals. They're really beautiful. But we went to the final thing that we did together as a group for the workshop. We went to Nietzsche Commons, and it's kind of like smack dab in like the hood. I guess you call it the hood, whatever you want to call it. And it's pretty much essentially the Native American Lexington Market. So you know you can get like your fresh fruits and vegetables, and they'll sell like, you know, Native American gardeners produce and stuff like that. They have like a little market too that you can get like your Aunt Jemima, of course, and other things. But more interesting, they have an upstairs. They have a store where they sell like Native American art, all types of things like moccasins, music, and stuff like that. And I bought a CD there too. Jewelry, Native American soap, anything you want. And they also have a restaurant. So we ate at the restaurant. They have like some like Native American food, but not a lot. I had some type of traditional bread. It was actually pretty good. I never knew that it existed. But that was pretty good too. So yeah, but I had pictures, so I guess maybe we could post them for this episode, some of the pictures, if anyone is interested.
Definitely.
Right. All right. So go to the main event coming from Canada. So all right. So you know we pretty much, I think it's like 5 of us. We all had to like transfer. We had to fly to Minnesota. But this is another thing too. We were trying to go to this fucking powwow, and I was going to go, but it wasn't worth like only being there for 20 minutes. Because I mean, you know, it's kind of a teaser. And the thing was, I was going to try to go, but I heard that you have to go through customs as soon as you get to the airport, which isn't a normal thing from what I'm understanding. You go directly to U.S. Customs when you're in Canada. So the way it works is, so you go there, you go to U.S. Customs, and so technically when you're like in that part of the airport, you're considered to be you're in America. And I'm looking,
now this is at the Canadian airport?
Yeah. And in my head, I'm like, what type of imperial shit is this?
I mean, it's kind of like, I guess like an embassy almost, you know?
I mean, one of the guys was explaining it to me, but I'm like, I said, yeah, I get it, but it doesn't make any sense because when we go to Minnesota, we weren't directly in Canadian customs, and we're still deep in Canada, deep in Winnipeg, deep as shit. So that's just some imperial shit, some crazy shit they do. That was just crazy to me. I've never heard anything like that in my life. But I guess that's what happens. See, just imagine, like, a little piece in the airport. You just want to go over there and say, hey, yeah, this is America right here. For our people, when they come through your shit, we want to check them. This is our shit. Deep as shit in Canada. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but like when I try to explain to like to other people around me, but they say, yeah, we get it, but you know, it is what it is, but it's crazy. That is crazy to me.
I mean, there's a lot of things that are crazy. I mean, you know, to me, the whole idea of countries is crazy. You know, the fact that this arbitrary line on the map determines so much. When at the end of the day we're all people. Like, it's 2015, it's time to figure out another system or another way. But, you know, I guess it's the whole power structure of the way everything is set up. But yeah, it's crazy, like how, I wonder, like, if another country wanted to extradite you, like let's say Canada wanted to lock you up, and if you're running from the Canadian police, could you like run to that part of the airport and be protected and just stay there and have people bring you food and stuff?
That's a very good question. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I don't know. I think I want to try to look into like that. If there's like some type of law or some shit like that, like something that made this shit legal, because it just makes no sense to me. But yeah, so Minnesota. I get to Minnesota. We all say goodbye, whatever, break into our separate directions because we're going to pretty much all over the country, pretty much in different places. I get to my gate. I'm walking up. I see, a man with a fitted hat on, some jeans, black shirt, look kind of big, and I'm like, he looks like so and so. So I'm walking. I'm like, well, maybe I don't know. I said, it can't be him. It can't be. It's just probably some black man. So he turned. He's walking around, pacing back and forth on the cell phone, and he turns. He puts his head up. And I'm like, oh shit, that is Bun B.
Wow.
So I'm kind of like standing there because I had a dream before I left that I met a rapper. I didn't know who I met, but I just know in my head that I met a rapper. For some reason I understood that I was a rapper in my dream. I don't know why. And I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So he looks up, he's on his phone, but he's like pacing frantically, like I guess something happened or whatever like that. And so he turned, he put his head up, I guess my eyes got like kind of big because it's not every day you see Bun B.
Yeah. And
so he looked at me like, oh shit, he knows he recognizes who I am. Fuck. And I'm like, damn. I just told him, I'm like, damn. Well. He's walking around frantically. I don't really want to fuck with him. He seems like he's going through something right now. So, I just, I said, all right, I'm just going to sit at a random seat. So I sit at a random seat. And just so happens, it happens to be right across from fucking Bun B, of all things. I didn't realize it. But he doesn't sit down, though. And I'm thinking one of the reasons why he doesn't sit down is because he knows that I know him. And I'm probably going to talk to him. So he's still on the phone doing whatever. He's yelling at people. And all these white people are looking at him. But the thing is, though, the gate was from Oklahoma City, but the gate before the screen said the gate was originally for Virginia. And the thing is, I recently listened to his Warren Epstein interview that he had a while back, and I think he has like 3 houses, and one is in Virginia. And so I'm assuming that he probably didn't know, and he probably had to go to Virginia, because he damn sure wasn't on the plane to Oklahoma City anyway. So I figured that he was probably just standing there because there's a whole bunch of old white people and they don't know who he is. And so I noticed like certain black people were looking at him anyway. And he's on the phone like, no, that's not how it goes. No. And I'm like, because I wanted to ask him a question from the Warren Epstein interview. I just want to ask him a fucking question. But the funny thing is, I was going to do it, but something said don't do it. And I started feeling kind of bad for him because you can tell he was kind of like in a bad mood, and like people were looking at him. He knew they were looking at him. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, damn, I really feel bad for him. And so when I said that, the guy comes up while he's on the phone, smacks him on the back. I mean, you can hear it. Smacks him on the back like, hey man, I love your music, buddy. But he took it in stride though. He smiled, said thank you, and just kept on with his conversation. And then eventually he took a picture with somebody. But then he got on the phone with his wife and he got into like a small argument with her. And yeah, I didn't ask him anything, because after a while, like whenever people come up to him, I just kind of gave him a look like, damn, I feel bad for you. Nah. And then so he did kind of say he decided to sit across for me because he realized I knew who he was, but I wasn't gonna fuck with him. But that's my Bun B story.
So what did you want to ask him?
Well, I was gonna ask him like how does it work with him when it comes like his shows and whatever else he does, and all the fucking features that he does like every 5 minutes, and how does he balance that and balance his collegiate career as a professor?
Yeah. That's a good question, because I'm actually a little bit behind, but I've been taking this course and watching the videos for the hip hop and religion course, and it's pretty interesting so far. In fact, I just got the email saying congratulations, 1 session finished.
That's what's up. Actually, since I saw him, I went back earlier today and I listened to the Combat Jack with him and the doctor guy. Oh yeah. But yeah, now also because I had that dream, I made demos. I burned 2 of my demos and I had it in my bag with me. I was thinking about giving it to him, but I said nah. And then I heard, and then the fucking interview talks about him collecting demos from the students. So I'm like, fuck. Yeah. Maybe I should have did it. God damn it. But then it's like, if I just said, hey, I like your music, he probably would accept that. But he obviously wasn't in the mood to have an actual conversation with somebody. Yeah. And the question I was asking, I wanted to ask, it involves him saying more than 2 things. And I just in my head I'm like, I'm not sure how that would go.
Yeah, I mean your question is almost like, getting some life advice from the OG.
Yeah, and so like I just wasn't sure how to approach it, because also he's a big dude. I'm kind of worried about him health wise. He's kind of overweight, but he's like tall as shit. His pictures and everything, I don't know, it seems like he hides it well sometimes, like, But that's the thing, but he looks different from his pictures. Like, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird to say this, but he looks like a regular person in real life. He doesn't exactly look like a regular person to me when you see him, like, on video or something like that. So it was kind of weird, but I don't know. But it was just kind of funny to me, like how, all these older white people, they're sitting, they mind their own business. I mean, even like younger white people, they don't know who the fuck he is. And like, he was walking around, he had like, he had like, he was hogging the whole charging station. He had like 2 phones hooked up, fucking headphones and shit. And he was walking back and forth. People are kind of looking at him. They were seeing him as like a black man, angry black man on the phone, yelling and arguing and shit. And I'm just in my head like, they don't know who the fuck this man is. Like, this is crazy right now.
This is prof.
Yeah, I was amazed. I'm in my head. I'm like, man, this man, he fucking teaches at Rice University. He has a worldwide course right now. And
the 5 mic album.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was thinking too, man. Cause I was like in my head, I'm like, Leroy, you can't sit here and not say anything to a man who has a fucking 5 mic album. And I just couldn't do it. I really felt bad. Like genuinely, I felt bad for him. He was really going through something. I think something bad happened.
I hope everything is well with him. Did you happen to look at his Twitter account or anything?
No, I was thinking about doing that, but no, I didn't do it. But damn man, like fucking like Jay-Z, UGK, Pimp C, Big Pimpin', 5 mic album, the song with Drake off that mixtape with the organs.
Oh yeah. It's funny, I was just listening to some real old UGK, like, I don't know, maybe it's from the 80s or something. And,
they were around the 80s?
I believe that's when, like, their first, like, demos and stuff came out, or their first singles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, they've been around for a long time, and his voice sounds so different, like, if according to Wikipedia, founded in 1987.
Okay.
You wouldn't recognize him as the Bun B that we know today.
Damn.
But yeah, man, that's interesting. I mean, Bun B is one of those guys who is just around sometimes. I think, like, a lot of up and comers seem to have a good relationship with him, and he seems to be open and embracing, I guess, when he's not in that mode. So,
I mean,
I met him briefly. It was at Love Nightclub in DC, and I think it was during Wale's video shoot for
Nike boots.
Yeah, Nike boots.
Yeah.
Everybody was in the club just having a good time, so it wasn't really appropriate place either to spark up a conversation, even though I was standing next to him for I don't know how long.
I don't know, obviously he was in a good mood, but I think looking back from the situation, maybe he would have liked, appreciated someone saying, hey, I don't know, maybe he's gotten it before, but hey, I wanted to ask you something about what you said on your interview on Juan Epstein. Maybe he would have, because maybe that would have, signaled to him that I'm like a hip hop head, and maybe I'll ask him an intelligent question.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll hear this. Hopefully he does and reaches out, and maybe he can call in or something like that and answer it for us.
Yeah, hopefully, man.
That's a question that I have a lot. Especially, someone like him, it's like some people just seem to have so much going on all the time. It's like, how do you juggle all this and still, he's a man with a family, and, he has, regular people responsibilities. So,
yeah.
Like, how do you juggle all that? Like, how many assistants do you have? And, how do you coordinate having to exist in all these different worlds? Like, you have your different homes, you have your family, you have the university setting, you have the hip-hop setting, and, it must be a monster, especially, if you're a big guy like that, and, everybody's getting older, and, things like diet and all of that probably come into play. Like, it must be really difficult.
Yeah, I mean, and also, what was interesting too is that whenever I think of like someone like a Bun B, although he's not selling records like he used to exactly, he's still doing all these crazy things, and you would imagine everywhere he goes he has like some type of assistant with him. But it seemed like he didn't have anyone. He was just by himself. He had like a bag. So that was interesting.
I guess that's just what works for him. Now thinking about Bun B, I'm thinking about that first album, Trill. Like, that was my joint. And then the Trill OG, I really mess with that too. Like,
Trill OG is the 5 mic one, right?
Yeah, that's the 5 mic one. And a lot of people were like, wasn't that good to get 5 mics and why are they doing this and all of that. But from what I remember, that whole album was banging start to finish. Whether or not it's, classic status, people don't really talk about it anymore or anything like that. And real talk, I probably can't remember a lot of songs off of it, but I do remember playing it a decent number of times and thoroughly enjoying it, so maybe I'll come back to it.
I mean, I was thinking about it too. See, this is the thing, like, I remember the first time I listened to, I guess it had to be True. Maybe it was True, I'm not sure. I know it had like Cool and Dre all over it though, I think. I was in the car with the Geeks Anthem.
Oh.
And that's when he had like the blue car.
Yeah.
And he was riding around for it, and it was some song, that it was pretty ill, and so it kind of got me more interested in Bun B, and then I think that's when like the Drake thing came up, and eventually that song kind of grew on me, but it really wasn't even Drake, it was Bun B's verse, because he kind of killed it.
Yeah. I mean, you can't sleep on Bun B, like, he goes in on a lot of records. Like,
I mean, yeah, he does.
I think the first Bun B joint I was really banging with was that song off of Trill, Keep On Pushing, with the sample in it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jeezy might have been on that one. I'm not sure. That one, and he had the one with Ludacris, Trill, Recognized Trill. That joint was ill. And that was just a dope record. And then on the second album on Two Trill, I never really listened to Two Trill like that, but I do remember the song he had with Lupe Fiasco. That was dope.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess to bring everything full circle, and like the small conversation we had earlier today about the Becoming, he was on Purple Rain.
He was on Purple Rain.
Yeah, I think that's about. I think it's track number 6.
Yeah, man, Becoming was a dope album. March 29th, in addition to being my birthday, is this year the 10th anniversary of Beanie Siegel's The Becoming. Which is highly slept on, but I think that deserves to be a 5-mic album. I think the song I always come back to from the album, I think is number 2. I think it's number 2 on there. Can't Go On This Way with Young Fish and Freeway.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm going to be I'm going to sound like a commie or a commercial person, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I still go back to. Actually, it's between Purple Rain and Feel It in the Air, because I remember the first time I heard Feel It in the Air, man. And it was, usually when I first hear like certain things, like in that time, was always on a music video, but I was on the back of the bus coming from, I think, I was about to go into my dome and coming from my dome and going somewhere, I don't know. And I just heard, I was listening to, I think I was listening to RZA, I think Digital Bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it was track, I think it was the Roomba. And I heard the saxophone. And sometimes when you have like different, you switch up like your headphones, you can hear like different things in the song.
Yeah.
So in my head, I'm like, oh my god! I said, True Master put fucking saxophones in it, and it goes with it for some type of weird reason. And then I said, no, it can't be. So I take my headphones out, and I look out the window, and this dude is bumping that shit. And I said, that's fucking Beanie Siegel. And the guy, he looks up to me, and he just starts nodding and saying harder, like, yeah, nigga, this is that shit. I was like, I gotta find that shit. So when I go back home, I turn on MTV Jams, whatever it was, and I just wait, because I said, it's a nigga song, it's going to be on MTV Jams. And it comes up, and Method Man's in the video, of course. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get this shit. As soon as I go to my dorm, I go straight to the bootleg, man, and get that.
And it was history from there.
It was, man. Like, I'm really sad that it's one of those albums that I don't go back to enough, but I always talk about it. I think it's the same thing with Memphis Bleak too. I feel like I don't go back to him like I used to anymore. I feel kind of bad for it.
Yeah, Memphis Bleak, he's definitely slept on. You know, I guess always having the B&J shadow, and then being in Beanie's shadow too. I think one of the dopest records that they all did together was that song Hypnotic. I can't think. Was that Memphis Bleak's second album?
Yeah, I think that was on Made, wasn't it? I think.
I'm not sure. I don't think it was on Made, because I remember bumping the mess out of Made, and I came across Hypnotic later on, because Made was the one that had the joint with MOP, right?
Yeah.
And they had the joint with the South dudes.
Okay, well, it can't be 534 because I think that's a bit too late.
You know what it might have been? Because maybe I'm thinking about 534. But,
man, 534 has to join something like 2, man. Shit.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, come on.
See, now you're getting into something, dear son.
God, man.
I mean, but that was a Jay-Z song.
I mean, it was, but I mean, man, this is the thing with Memphis Bleak. I wonder how much money they technically wasted on promoting this man, because he always had an all-star cast, like the what was it called? The Coming or the something before
yeah, was it Coming to Age?
No, that was his first one. I think it was like the second one, the one that had Is That Your Chick with Missy Elliott and someone else. He will always have an all-star studded cast on his singles, videos all decked out. Jay-Z usually makes some type of crazy cameo appearance for whatever reason. And this nigga still can't go platinum to save his life.
Yeah, I mean, but, you know, all his albums on gold, that's pretty good.
Well, 534 didn't.
Or maybe maybe some single went gold or platinum or something like that. I like Memphis Bleak. I definitely have respect for him because he's kind of like DMX in a way, to where he can make a early whack ass Swiss beat sound good. Swiss Beats was making some, and Swiss Beats even admitted, like, those beats they used to be making back in the day were horrible. And
I listened to the Combat Jack with the dude, what's his name, the Rough Riders dude, I can't think of his name.
I think it was Y.
Yeah, he said that, he even said Swiss didn't know what the fuck he was doing, but he said for some reason there was something about the Rough Riders anthem.
And DMX didn't even want to do that song, and that ended up being the one that popped off.
Yeah, that's crazy. And Biggie doing it in Maryland, too, I think?
Yeah, I know he recorded most of that album in Baltimore. And I remember his MySpace page used to say Yonkers in Baltimore. And,
yeah, I remember that too, yeah.
And his book, he went into depth about Baltimore and how he said some pretty bad things.
Oh man, speaking of that, man. I told you I got the Busy Bone book.
Oh yeah.
I started reading on a plane. Like I'm really at the think down there like the very beginning, but it's a quote that I gotta read for the listeners, man. This is crazy. In the introduction, hold on, I gotta find it real quick.
Okay.
Because hold on, wait, please tell me. Hold on, please. Where is it? Okay. This is pretty much the life of Busy Bone. And this is pretty much a quote for the most part, but it's in the introduction by the two people who wrote the book. When I was around 7 years old, I remember someone told me that they were going to show me how to pimp these hoes, Busy recalled, but I told them that I was going to be a singer. What the fuck?
Now this is Busy Bone inside a Busy Mind?
Yeah. But yeah, and you know, when I didn't know he was kidnapped. He was found on an Oklahoma reservation.
Oh yeah, I do remember hearing that story.
Man, I get the fuck out of here, man. It's crazier and crazier, man. Like, I had to stop reading this shit. I'm like, what?
Man, it's all kind of crazy stuff going down in Oklahoma. There's some senator who's talking about, you know, basically global warming doesn't exist because of the Bible, and he has all these Bible passages that prove that there's no climate change.
Man, fuck him.
I mean, you know, the Bible told him so.
Yeah, whatever.
Speaking of Bible, you know how sometimes we talk about, you know, we wonder what people are doing and stuff like that?
Yeah.
I have a recent killer priest sighting.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Amen Ra Squad.
Yeah, you know, yeah, I have, I subscribe to the podcast. I just haven't listened yet.
Okay, yeah. So they did a debate with the Black Hebrew Israelites or whatever, and, you know, they're all about Nile Valley, African consciousness, all that good stuff. And so they had this big debate at the Alhambra Ballroom in Harlem, and during one of the breaks for the debate, Killer Priest pops out and spits a acapella.
Oh, man.
And it was dope. And I think Loaded Lux performed as well there.
What the fuck? Where did he come from?
Huh?
Well, it wasn't Harlem, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, I do remember, I think it was in the battle, it might have been a battle against Hollow the Dawn, where he said something about, you know, you studying the knowledge from Brother Polite. And Polite, he's not with the Amen Ra Squad, but he was debating, you know, on their side during that whole thing. So maybe I guess it was that type of affiliation.
Oh,
and they were talking about how it's interesting, you know, the connection that's happening, I guess, again, between hip-hop and black consciousness, and how, you know, it's getting back into hip-hop. And one of the guys, I don't know if you remember Casual from Hieroglyphics. Yeah, he wrote a book, which I've been meaning to get, the handbook to the Black Consciousness Community or something like that.
No, I've heard of that, no.
Yeah, like, he's been doing his research and everything. Like, he's pretty much, I think he's put his rap career on the back burner, and he's been doing research and learning how to read hieroglyphics and the Medu Neter and really getting into some things. And after the debate, it was interesting. Planet Asia called and was talking about this, and you know, basically how everything's coming full circle back to the consciousness, and it's becoming cool again.
Oh, wow. Shit. The fuck was I going to say? Well, yeah, Killer. Oh, okay. So Combat Jack. The Bun B episode with the professor. They were talking about the things that they incorporate in their class, and I think it was the professor. He said that they also incorporate decoded in there, and so I'm assuming by decoded they mean hip hop decoded by Black Dot.
No, I think it's talking about Jay-Z.
Oh, okay. You know, I still have yet to read that book.
I thought it was great once you get past the corny introduction.
Well, and that's the thing. I was trying to read the introduction. I said, man, fuck this shit, man.
Yeah. I almost did, but once he starts getting into the songs and everything, it's a lot better. But yeah, introduction was just like, it's like a We Are the World record.
Well, see, I'm also thinking that, I think with me at least, when it comes to at least hip-hop books, I got to have them in my hand. I can't try to read them off the screen. So I'm thinking I'll probably just double back and I'm sure it's probably like $1 on Amazon anyway nowadays.
Yeah.
Although this Busy Bone, I think the Busy Bone book was about $12. Straight from the publisher, but for some reason if you buy from someone else it's like $25, $30.
That's a crazy markup.
Yeah, I don't know what. I mean, I'm pretty sure they probably didn't make it that much, you know, that many of them.
Yeah.
It's only for the handful of people.
Yeah, we need to start a hip hop book library.
A hip hop book what?
Library.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I think we do. Because I do want to go back and get decoded. I think my brother pretty much I guess he really feels like he owns the Wu-Tang manual, which I bought. Man, I was with you when I bought it in Towson Mall.
Yeah.
I got it.
What's funny is I bought both of RZA's books and I ended up giving them to people.
Oh damn. Well, shout out to the Dao Wu. DMX. I guess I touched it once. DMX biography. I think who is it? I think someone's working. You know what? Trick Daddy's book that no one ever talks about.
I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, he came over with a book like almost 2 years ago now. And I don't really know what they'll really say. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's some corny shit. You never know. The little tidbits could be in there. Maybe something about Rick Ross in there, something like that we need to know.
Yeah, and Trick Daddy. It's interesting. Another podcast I listened to. It's called In the Conversation, and it's with comedian Damian Lemon, or comedians Damian Levin. What's the other dude's name? I can't forget his. Oh man, I can't remember his name right now. He's a Hispanic guy. He's a comedian as well. And then there's this guy named Ali Muhammad, who's a videographer. And Ali Muhammad, he's from Miami, and he's always talking about how, like, the culture down there is different. And Trick Daddy was basically like, he's like the trick of Miami, and he's like running stuff down there, and that's like their classic. I guess maybe he was like their Tupac. I can't front. I did used to like those Trick singles. I mean, Trick Daddy singles, Trick Letter Kids and all that.
I mean, yeah, I guess he was interesting, I guess. Yeah. When I think of Miami, though, I always think about Pitbull and how he made that random switch from his first album to shit that he's doing now.
Oh yeah, that 305 album. He's a dope rapper. People don't know.
I mean, but like the way I think it's one of the best ways someone's ever started off an album in I don't know how long. The fucking intro, you remember that shit?
I don't remember it.
It's Lil Jon, like, yeah, nigga, it's Pitbull, whatever he's talking about, and then it comes on, I think this hard ass beat, I think Lil Jon even made it. It wasn't crunked out. And Pitbull just goes on and just spitting these crazy ass bars for like fucking 3 minutes.
You can't sleep on Pitbull, man. It's funny as Oh, so, this is what I meant to talk about. Earl Sweatshirt's album came out.
Where did you have you listened to it?
I listened to a great, probably about half of it, and that thing is dope. And there's one record that he has where he's talking about doing a remix featuring, and like he says it on the song, he wants to do a remix with Pitbull and MF Doom. And I was listening to, I haven't gotten through his interview, but I was listening to his interview on NPR Soundcheck.
Oh, yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, and he said that he got the MF Doom verse and he's waiting on Pitbull now.
Okay. I stopped listening to it because, like, the way it starts off, I don't really know what the fuck they're talking about. And so I just wasn't interested. When he goes, like, with the label and the video or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I kind of had to, piece that together because, I'm not necessarily following him like that, but when I saw the title of the album, I just had to listen to it.
I mean, because I was trying to do some research as they were going along, but I know that Tyler said something that he's not sure if Earl Sweatshirt is without a future or something like that, or he doesn't know where his mind is.
I think Earl Sweatshirt's beef was with, well, I don't know, I think his thing was more with Sony, and about the release of the trailer to his album and everything. So I don't know if he has some other issues with Odd Future. Now I'm looking at it now, it doesn't look like he has any Odd Future features on here.
Well, I mean,
so many people in Odd Future.
Yeah, no. I mean, I know that when he came back out, he went to Sony and got his own deal, and he didn't do anything through Odd Future and what they're doing. And I was kind of thinking. I mean, in my head, I'm like, it's kind of smart, but then it's kind of like I don't know what to think about it because if you kind of think about it, the reason why Earl Sweatshirt was popping was because of the fact they kept repping Earl.
Yeah. That's true. And I don't know, but I think it's kind of good though because like his voice sounds just like Tyler. Like even though his rapping style is different, I guess especially as he gets older, he sounds like Tyler the Creator. I think his lyrics are so different because if you compare what's Tyler's first album? I can't think of the name of it. Bastard. Yeah, that's a good ass album actually. Yeah, I did like it. I still have yet to listen to Lincoln. I never listened to Earl's debut album, but his first one, the mixtape or whatever it's called. It's totally different. You can even see, although the shit was kind of driven now. You can even tell his lyrical capabilities compared to Tyler and anyone else in the crew, and they all knew that too. You can tell. Yeah. And they kept repping fucking Earl, and technically Earl Sweatshirt kind of got on. He rode the wave of Tyler the Creator because Tyler the Creator had that crazy ass wave, and while on it, he kept saying "fuck two dope boys" and "where the fuck is Earl?" That's true. And then, from what I can tell, Earl doesn't ever really mention Tyler, and that's his brother. In that interview, he just goes on and on and on about his mother. But I'm like, y'all come from the same mother, so where does your brother come in? I don't know what to say about that. Maybe it's just a professional thing, and maybe, they personally, they talk. Who knows? Yeah, I wonder if, and plus, Tyler always says all kind of wild stuff on Twitter, so, but, I wonder, I've been meaning to watch Loiter Squad. I never listened, I watched it, but, I'm wondering if, I'm wondering if Earl has any type of involvement in that. I think when he came back, I think he was on it. I think. I'm assuming it still comes on. Yeah, I don't know. Odd Future's initial buzz and fascination about them seems to have dwindled, but I guess they got enough of a core fan base so that they can keep going. So,
I mean, shit, I imagine, man. I mean, fucking Tyler, the Creator, I think he did more albums in his first week, more albums in his first week on his second album than he did on his first one.
yeah.
Because I think they're through XL, I believe.
Oh, I thought they would do Sony Red. Or maybe he's through XL and the rest of them are through Sony Red.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something like that. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you know, speaking of books, another book that I've never read is Prodigy's book. Come to think about it.
I've never read it either, and I've been looking for a copy. And you know what? I was thinking about getting. I've never really listened to an audio book before. But I'm thinking about getting that particular one on audio book.
Because he does it himself.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's like that book. It just seems very, as Dame Dash would put it, chatty patty. Did you watch that Dame Dash interview?
Put on Combat Jet?
Nah, with the Breakfast Club.
No, I never got around to doing it. I mean, because I have some shit like saved to my YouTube. I still have yet to listen to the RZA one. That was kind of recent.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. You know what else I forgot about? I forgot about that Wu-Tang album. The only reason why it came back into my memory is because Raekwon said something about it being boring. Wu-Tang did put out an album. I did burn it to a CD and drive around to it for a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, there's like only one flash of brilliance on that album, and it's the one that's like kind of weird.
Song.
It's the one with like the heavy kung fu samples on it. I'm not sure if that's it. It has Master Killer and RZA as the like primary vocalist on it.
Let me see. Better Tomorrow, Wu-Tang Clan, A Better Tomorrow, Felt. Keep watch. Hold up. Oh, Necklace. Yeah, I think it has to have been Necklace.
I think that necklace is causing you too much trouble.
Yeah.
It's another one. But Necklace was probably the only other flash of brilliance on that album.
Yeah. I like this Felt song.
I mean, it was cool. Speaking of Wu-Tang, have you listened to SZA's single Mexican Girl?
I don't even think I even heard that.
Well, it was. I think it came out on pretty much like all like the pretty major blogs, like Not Right and shit. I don't like it. It's literally about a Mexican girl, from what I can recall.
And you said it was SZA?
No, GZA.
Oh, GZA. Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I didn't even listen to it.
Was it because of the title?
I think I kept meaning to, but you know, he just sounds so old now. It's just like. But I saw that he performed it on some.
What's his name? The guy who loves with the Roots.
Oh, Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, Fallon. Yeah. Man, it seems like he got like a crazy buzz if he can just come out of nowhere on some shit like that and do that.
Yeah, you know, what are you really promoting? Like, you just come out of nowhere, like, oh yeah, here's a song I did.
Yeah, I wonder if Space Ghost Perp is going to have some beats on there.
You said Space Ghost?
Yeah, remember, like, it was like something that Jesus said that he wanted to get some beats from Space Ghost Perk.
Oh, that would be interesting.
It would, but have you listened to like a lot of Space Ghost Perk?
Not a lot.
Okay, well, by any chance, have you listened to 50 Blunts of Perk?
Nah, I didn't listen to that.
Okay, well, it's pretty much like it's a collection of like all of his, a collection, I guess, of some of his best songs that he thinks that they are his best songs. He came up with it. And I mean, it has like a, it's pretty much like the Space Coast Perp sound, the 808s, the crazy type of sounds, whatever like that, the overpaid shit, and just the lo-fi shit just sounds horrible. But he has this one song that he samples, Portishead. I think, okay, the Black Widow from Bobby Digital and Stereo.
Yeah.
With ODB. I think that's it's the same sample that Inspector Death used to make that beat. And it's the East Coast beat, and it has different drums. It doesn't have like 808. It has like SP type of drums or some shit like that. And so you can obviously tell that he does know his 90s shit, and I'll give it to him. Sounded like a straight 90s beat to me. So I wonder if he does do something with Jesus' album. Is it going to be something like that, or is it going to be some updated type shit? Kind of like how Pro Tools was to a certain extent, at least.
Yeah, I wonder what Jesus is going to be rapping about.
No science.
That's what I was thinking. Like, or if he's going to have any features from Neil deGrasse Tyson and Bill Nye.
I mean, he has to keep up. I mean, Wale's doing it. I see he has that song with J. Cole that came out.
Yeah, his album actually just leaked. I just saw it. Yeah,
I heard. Well, speaking of albums, since you told me that you were going to listen to it for this episode, I listened to Action Bronson while I was in Starbucks.
Oh yeah, that's right. I did listen to the album. What did you think of that?
Okay, well, I really haven't I've really only listened to Action Bronson, through features for the most part. And, I guess I was surprised that it was better than what I thought it would be. But I would say, like, the best songs on there pretty much were the ones that Alchemist did.
Yeah, I think, I like his mixtape with Alchemist way better.
Yeah,
the thing, what I don't like that white rappers tend to do, is, no matter how grimy they are and all this other type of stuff, or how much they can really rap and all this other type of stuff, like, when they get to a major and then things don't necessarily seem to be working, they play up their whiteness and just gravitate to that. And, like, they just get super white. And I saw that with Action Bronson's album, he was talking about how he was experimenting musically and all sorts of type of stuff, and, by singing on songs, and, he had all the classic rock, which, I'm sure is a great influence to him and all that, but, it didn't sound like anything that I was expecting, and that is not necessarily a good thing all the time. I mean, sometimes you want to be surprised, but sometimes you want, I don't know, like, if this was your first time listening to Action Bronson, I think you need to go back and listen to some other stuff. And, like, another person who does that is Yellow Wolf.
I was thinking about that when you said that.
Yeah, like, he dropped this new single, and I can't front, it's dope. Like, it's like some country music type stuff, and he's singing on pretty much the whole thing, and then on one of his singing verses, he kind of just stopped singing and dropped some bars real quick. But it's very, I guess you would call it Americana.
Right.
And it's even called, what's it called? It's called American You.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's dope, but it's like, I can see Yellow Wolf not being a rapper anymore at some point. Kind of like how Kid Rock, isn't a rapper anymore at all, or Everlast.
Yeah, I was gonna bring Everlast up. Because, like when I was listening to the album, the first 3 or 4 songs, I was like, damn, this is like actually pretty good. And usually what I do is, like, if I'm like really enticed with an album, and this is probably something I shouldn't do, I look at the track list to see how many songs is on the album, and if it's past like 13, I'm like, it's something about like I just had this thing about an album shouldn't be past 13 tracks, because that's when it just starts to get kind of crazy. But then also, I mean, it kind of depends on how you go about doing it. I mean, like, if you go to the Mad Villain album, it's like 23 tracks, but like almost every track is like under 2 minutes for the most part.
Although, I agree with what you're saying, because, you look at it, like, I look at Nas, Illmatic, I look at Common's B, and Finer Forever, and just, a lot of dope albums don't have a lot of tracks, but then you have Get Rich or Die Trying, and you have, that whole run of all of those dope, I guess, early 2000s type albums that had mad tracks on them, but they were kind of banging all the way through. Like, I guess Interscope rappers tend to have longer albums, because like Eminem's albums would be mad long. Like, he likes to fill it to the last minute. Who else? Even Kendrick, his albums would be mad long.
Yeah, you said Get Rich or Die Trying, Eminem, and Kendrick, and I had problems with each and every one of these people.
Yeah, I know. And I was going to also bring up, Dr. Dre, even Dr. Dre's old albums. So I don't know.
I mean,
like, maybe. Go ahead.
So, like one album, like I have a weird relationship with this album, and it's EPMD's Strictly Business. That's the first one, I think. And I think the album's only like 10 songs, but the songs are so long, but the beats are ill, the lyrics are ill, but each song just goes on for like 5 minutes. And it just kind of bugs me out, and so I don't know what to say about the album sometimes.
I'm being honest, I've never listened to an EPMD album.
Oh damn. Well, I mean, I will say that EPMD, they're one of those groups that they don't really get their just due, but I think if you want to like be technical, in the top, I would say the top 10 to be safe. In the top 10, you probably got to say EPMD has to be within the top 10 of like the most influential people in hip hop.
Yeah, because people are always mentioning them, and I've been meaning to go and listen to them, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I think the one song that I can think of when I think of EPMD is that joint they did with MOP. And they had the remix. I think they had like Lady Luck or Remy Ma, somebody on there. You know what I'm talking about?
That was like 96, right? Or 90?
I think it was later.
98?
Something like that. I think it was after Annie Up or around that same time. So it might have been in the 2000s.
Okay. Well, I mean, like Wu-Tang pretty much based like the whole blueprint on EPMD and how they did that shit. You had Das Effects, Redman that came out of that type of camp, and all those other type of people that I guess probably didn't pop off. And when I listened to the interview they had with the Juan Epstein with Eric Sermon, And you know, it was interesting because Eric Sermon was always like one of those people that I always kind of think about, like kind of like on the lines of Omega, you know, like how they survive. And apparently, Eric Sermon, I guess, is technically pretty rich from his production and like the people that sample EPMD. And he said like the Mario Winans song, that the only song that Mario Winans is known for. I can't think of the way it goes, but the drums, those are that's from the EPMD cut. And I think, you know, even like, you know, it kind of put in perspective, like the thing that Rosenberg said to him about that drum sample and how he gets money off of it, kind of puts it into perspective with this whole thing about, the Marvin Gaye thing and the Rodney Thicke song.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because I mean, I think that, Rosenberg made a good point because, you know, because for the most part, EPMD albums, production-wise, they never really chopped drums, or even like did drum loops off of certain breaks. They usually made their own drums, and they did it off of a Linn drum, usually. And Rosenberg, and that's what I thought. And so Rosenberg said, well, you know, you're using a Linn drum, so how the fuck can you get money off of that? And, you know, he did say, though, because you can't really get money off the pattern for the most part because, you know, there's only so many patterns you can really do. And technically, like, you know, in sampling, you get, you know, you can get money off the melody, pretty much, for the most part. And Eric Sermon said, well, it's all in how you EQ it, too. So this nigga's getting paid pretty much off of the EQing of the drums. Since he pretty much takes the drums and just throws them on the track. And I'm like, what the fuck? So that shit was kind of crazy. Like, the way he EQs the fucking drums, that's how he's getting paid off that money, off that song. Crazy.
He must have had some dope lawyers come up with that one.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking too. I mean, because I mean, I think he has like 2-3 houses, and you know, I'm assuming he doesn't really. In so many words, he doesn't have to work anymore, from what I'm understanding, and he gets paid off of the music joint, the Marvin Gaye joint too.
Yeah. I was thinking that too. That was a big song for a long time.
Yeah, I love that song, man.
Yeah.
It was so random though. Of all people, crazy. But yeah, man. The Action Bronson joint. I mean, yeah, like first 4 songs were cool, but then at the middle, that's when people start singing, and his producer Party Supplies, I think he started singing too, and I didn't know what the fuck, I didn't know where the album was going, and then toward the end he starts rapping again, and I think it picks it back up with another Alchemist track, Galactic Love. That's a pretty old joint, actually, to me.
Yeah.
And actually, the way he ends it, I like that song too, but it does have like a real rock feel to it, and I did kind of get that kind of whiteness type thing. Because you know, I think we all know that, you know, black rappers, they tend to use, you know, that type of like rock, 80s arena rock type samples, you know, Look at Joe Button and
oh yeah.
So I guess it's all in a different way. Because they really sample it. They pretty much use like the same sample and leave it at that. But it seemed like Action Bronson has some extra shit going on with keyboards and guitars and shit from other people to add on to it to make it really rocky. Kind of, sort of.
Yeah, and it seemed, I don't know, it just, to me, it didn't seem like his sound.
Yeah.
Like, and then on some of the joints, like some of the bars that he was spitting, it just didn't really fit. Like, you know, the bars were dope, but he said some funny, you know, stuff in there, but it didn't fit on the beats to me sometimes. And it wasn't dark. It wasn't like, I mean, you know, a lot of his music isn't real dark or anything like that, but I don't know, it And, he kind of touched on this in his Breakfast Club interview about the album not necessarily being boom bappy. But, I think he should have boom bapped it up a little bit more.
See, like, this is what I don't understand about, this is weird to me, how blog rappers are getting on and they're getting these record deals. But the thing is, though, nowadays it seems like record labels, they're really just getting people who strictly nowadays based on their fan base.
Yeah.
And to a certain extent, they don't exactly expect you to really break out the mold and do some crazy ass numbers. I'm pretty sure they don't expect Action Bronson to really go gold for real.
Yeah, I doubt it.
And so the thing is, though, you would think that if someone like him is getting like a major label deal, that they would just want him to do what he does and call it a day and, do what, 250, 300,000 and call it a day and make a little money off of it. Because, he's not like a commercial rapper for the most part. And that's the same thing with like Big Crit, because I don't understand what they were trying to do with him when he had his first album and he was on 106 in Park. Why was he on 106 in Park? Big Crit
he didn't look like he belonged there, like
yeah,
why am I here right now? That's like little brother being on 106 in Park.
Yeah, I just don't understand this shit. I mean, the only I guess, blog rapper who, recently, if you want to call it that, who's gotten a pass like that has been Childish Gambino, because obviously he has kind of broken the mold. But then he kind of really hasn't, because I don't know what to say about that dude sometimes. I don't really understand it.
I mean, he's new black.
I guess, man, but I don't know. It's weird, man. I mean, and who else?
I guess the sacrificial lamb, or one of them of blog rappers, is Wale.
Well, see, I think Wale is a bit different though, because I think he has proved that he can do. He's more flexible compared to an Action Bronson.
Yeah. But Action Bronson, his marketing is so dope. Like, just what he's doing with the food, and it's going to get picked up by a network. And, he's coming up with a cooking show. And, he had 3 top chefs create recipes based off his album.
Oh, wow.
So, he's, I think he kind of has to switch up his music a little bit and make it a little bit more commercially appealing so that he can continue to reach these audiences that he's getting in that way. So, I don't know.
I don't know what to say about that, dude. I mean, because, if you think about the Food Network, I don't know. I think I'm assuming that the demographic of people who watch the Food Network is so varied that I don't think it will matter that much.
That's true, yeah. But I don't know. I can see him crossing over mainstream a little bit somehow. I guess, and it's kind of weird that I'm making this comparison, but I guess kind of like in a Ghostface kind of way, Ghostface is, he's kind of known in the culture, but not all the time necessarily just for rap, but just because he is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's the guy with the bird on the arm. He had that whole series where he was dropping his wisdom on MTV.
Yeah, it's true. I guess I can see it.
I guess, when people, I guess it's weird because Action Bronson is branching off into other areas which really kind of isn't, because he was a chef first. And you know the story about how he started rapping?
I just know he was a chef and he somehow picked up rap. I don't know the details exactly.
He had an injury in the kitchen. Apparently, you know, being a chef is a pretty dangerous job. And, he slipped and broke his leg or something like that, and he was in the hospital, and he was real bored, so he started, you know, just rapping. I think maybe he was like toying with it and stuff before, but you know, he kind of took it more serious. All right, so Action Bronson, I'm looking at the sales numbers.
Oh, from Hip Hop DX?
Yeah, so they're thinking that he's going to do 40 to 45,000, and Earl Sweatshirt 28 to 35,000. Which I guess when you're not doing very much promo, very much expensive promo, I should say, you know, you probably get a pretty good return on that.
I mean, that's pretty low for Earl Sweatshirt. I mean, for real, at this point, I would expect him to do like 60 to 80,000.
I mean, you gotta understand, nobody knows who he is unless you, one, really listen to music, and then two, are really into that type of thing. I mean, like, his album, that joint, and I guess, you know, a lot of the Future type dudes, their albums aren't really, like, mixed down.
Yeah, sure.
Like, I don't know, 60,000, that's a lot of people.
Hold on, wait, I mean, but Tyler, the Creator, he does those type of numbers.
I mean, he had a single with Ferrel.
I mean, but he did those type of numbers before the single with Ferrel.
That's true. It seemed like he had more press.
I mean, see, I think it's because he rode the wave of the idea of Art Future, and he just happened to be the leader of it. Yeah. When you think about it, no one ever even cares about all these other people. I mean, because I've never really listened to Left Brain and all the internet and shit like that.
Well, I like the internet. But they're not rap. You know, they're like a EDM type of thing that they have going on, like some type of alternative type stuff. And then, of course, there's Frank Ocean.
Oh, so he's still affiliated with them?
I'm assuming so. I don't know.
Yeah, however that happened, who knows?
It's weird with all these young kids and their groups and things that they do. But one thing I will say is they're tearing it down every festival season. I mean, I think they did it big at South by Southwest, and they'll probably continue, you know, throughout the summer.
I'm sure. I know that Earl Sweatshirt, he was at South by Southwest too, right? So I wonder. Yeah. I wonder if he was on stage with them or they were on stage with him or something.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they would all be down there and he wouldn't be. So.
Yeah, I'm sure we probably would have heard about it by now.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny though, like listening to I don't know, like, you know, like how Corey Guns and like Saigon and shit are like on Love and Hip Hop and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I sit down, I was thinking like all these people, I mean, I guess it's the same thing with like Bun B, like they don't know who the fuck these people even are.
Yo, I just had this conversation with my girl, like, she was saying something about Benzino. She asked me, do I know who Benzino is?
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, what? Do you know who Benzino is? And so she's like, yeah, from Love and Hip Hop. And I'm like, he's on Love and Hip Hop? And I'm like, you know, so I had to explain to her, I was like, you ever heard of the Source magazine? Yeah, he started that. You ever see Hip Hop Weekly in the stores? He started that too. You know, he's a producer. You know, he did that song, I See Booty. And I was telling her about how you had the you had the Benzino tape, and I was listening to it, and that joint was actually dope.
Oh, see, but I mean, did you go deeper? Did you go deeper into the tape though? Like, it wasn't a fucking real tape. Hello?
What you mean?
No, okay, because pretty much, alright. Preston had the CD, and I didn't have the money to get the CD, so I was like, yo, please let me borrow it real quick. I'll give it back to you the next day at school. I just need to record this shit. And so I recorded the whole CD on the tape.
I forgot about those days.
You don't remember the cassette? For once in my life, I even used the tape label, the labels that come with the tape.
Yeah.
And wrote the Benzino project on it.
I do remember that. Yeah, I used to do that too. I remember sometimes I would have a tape, and I wouldn't have a way to record the tape, so I would face two boomboxes to each other and wrap them in blankets.
Oh, yeah.
And turn one of them up real loud so I could record something.
Damn. Yeah, that shit, man.
I used to do all kind of stuff. I used to take headphones and chop them up, so I would have the wires, and I would twist up wires so I could connect the TV to the computer so I could record music, video, audio, and record stuff off the video games.
Oh, damn.
I mean, you had the, it's funny because, like, you hear all these stories on these interviews about, back in the day, this is what we had to do and this and that. And I'm like, man, I got my own stories like that too. I used to have to get take the, toilet tissue or the tape and tape over the little parts so you could record over something.
Yeah. I think we had a conversation about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I still have the, I still got a whole thing of old tapes. I'm always afraid to play them because I went through a phase where, like, a lot of my tapes would pop. But, I gotta get a real good tape player and start, getting some of my tape, audio off because, like, a lot of my tapes are old rap attacks, like the old rap attacks with, JV the Baldhead Wonder who, ended up dying from cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And I got old Strictly Hip Hop. I got some old Cormega interview from Strictly Hip Hop on tape somewhere.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I got, my tape archive is a little deep if I dig through it a little bit.
Speaking of that, I turned on Strictly Hip Hop, I think it was last Friday.
Oh, man, straight from all the way from Oklahoma.
Yeah, it was, I was at like the very last part of it, and so I guess nowadays they have some type of pre-recorded mix that some DJ does of some old ass 80s, 90s hip hop.
Oh yeah, they always used to do that.
They did.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, I don't recall. I think I'm going to try to catch it maybe this coming Friday, hopefully, and see what they're doing nowadays.
Yeah. Shout out to Strictly Hip Hop. It's a lot of it's a lot of good hip hop programming that's out there. You just gotta dig for it, and that makes and like that reminds me of like I guess pre-internet the lengths that we had to go to listen to music, and how they say when hip hop first started, if you wanted to hear it, you had to listen at a certain time, and it's like we kind of had to go through the same thing, like. We had the hip-hop that was on radio, but if you really wanted to hear what was going on underground-wise and all of that, you had to buy the Source, you had to buy Double XL, you had to take chances and just buy random stuff and hope that it was good sometimes.
Yeah.
Eventually you had the bootleg, man, but, you had to stay up 12 to 5 on Friday nights. Or you had to catch the Rap Attack at 7 on Sunday. I think it used to come on Saturdays, and they moved it to 7 p.m. on Sundays. Yeah,
it did. That was bullshit.
Yeah, and I remember, I think my one of my first concerts that I went to, I won tickets to see Mos Def at Sonar off the Rap Attack. And all you had to do was call in and like name his first album. And I think I might have been the second caller. The first person called up and somehow got that wrong. And it's like black on both sides. It's still one of my top favorite albums of all time.
You know, I really think The Ecstatic is his best album. And you know how much of a stickler I am when it comes to like what an album is, like the definition of it.
Yeah.
So and I'm all about, you know, everything has to be cohesive. It has to be. It just can't be anything other, because I don't consider it an album. And for the listeners, this is going to come up sooner or later. But you know, this is why I like the Beach Boys over the Beatles, because I feel as though they put out better albums. If you guys are fucking rock listeners or Beatles fans or whatever, if you guys like the Beatles, go back and listen to the main one, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, and compare that to Rubber Soul, and just think about it. Think about how disjointed Sgt. Pepper's is technically. Although the songs are great, but go to Rubber Soul and just think about how everything just nicely fits together because of the acoustic sounds, and how everything is mixed properly together. Because they're all using the same fucking instruments and the same sounds compared to Sgt. Pepper's. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you know, a lot of people I think would say that, you know, the Beatles didn't really have good albums, but they had great songs. Which is, you know, ain't nothing wrong with that sometimes.
I mean, it's not, but I really think, it hasn't always been a problem, but I think nowadays, since, you know, we're in this age where, you know, we don't have the same attention spans we did in the 19th century.
Yeah.
And, you know, you really got to put together a really nice album. And I think people just try to get over on the single shit. And, you know, ringtone rap didn't help at all.
Yeah.
But I really think that, you know, people just say they're making an album, but they really don't understand how hard it is to put together a cohesive album. I mean, it's hard to do.
Yeah, you can't just jumble up a bunch of songs that just don't go together, and then like sometimes your songs might go together, but the order might be messed up. I think that's one of my problems with Lupe Fiasco's second album. Sometimes, like, it'll be flowing together, and then, like, some random song will just pop up, and it's like you could have moved this song a couple back. So, but I don't know. I guess people make the decisions that they make for whatever reason that they make them, but yeah, making an album is hard, and I think too you have to care, and I think that a lot of artists just don't care. I mean, yeah, that's I guess that's the more realistic aspect of it all. That, you know, fucking label politics. And they come out on these interviews and they say, this is my greatest album and it's so cohesive and I was thinking about this and that. And you listen to it and it's like, it's really not that deep, Holdy. Wait, you know, Diddy actually comes out with some pretty cohesive albums though, of all people. Yeah, he does. And you know what? See, this is something, because I think people, I'm sure a lot of people don't even, like, they either don't remember it or they just never knew this shit existed. You know what I'm talking about? That the random throwaway track that came out on those blogs in, like, what, 2009, 2010? Yeah, The Dream? Yeah, man. That is a crazy-ass song. And you know so what? Diddy said that, from that Last Train to Paris album, he has a lot of stuff, and he might put it out one day. But I I'm curious, if that song was one of those songs, I'm curious to see what the rest of it sounds like. And that album, I think, was slept on and forgotten about, but it's actually pretty dope. But, and he said he was going to keep pushing it for a long time, but, you know, it kind of fizzled out over time, and, maybe those songs will probably never see the light of the day, but I think that was a dope project that he put together for the most part.
Well, see, and see, it's the thing, Press Play had something about it, like even the joint with Keisha Cole.
Oh, yeah.
They played that shit so much that I even started liking it. And if you think about it, like it has that Prince sample, whatever. It's actually it's a well put together song. And overall, the album is well put together too, because if you're a hip hop head, you can just tell the people who wrote for him. Between Ferrel, Hart, Nas, and didn't Lupe write like 2 songs on that too?
Maybe he did, but I do hear some Royce 5'9" in there.
Yeah, I think the genius of the album is that he's putting all these different, because he's taking that flow too, and that sound texture kind of sorta.
Yeah. And
he's putting them on the same kind of level on this EDM-ish type of landscape throughout, for like fucking 40 minutes. So I think that was kind of interesting actually.
Yeah, Diddy, people knock him a lot, but I think he's kind of ahead of his time on a lot of things, and I think he doesn't get all the credit that he deserves with a lot of things. We always talk about this, like the American Gangster album, Jay-Z.
Yeah, man.
He put that together, and that album sounds to me like the cohesiveness of it, and just the way it, generally sounds. It sounds like what the evolution of Biggie probably would have sounded like.
Well, did you ever listen to the Sean CNLV interview with Warren Epstein?
I did listen to it, yeah.
Yeah, and they. Well, I think Rosenberg asked, what the fuck did he even want, on a fucking Jay-Z album, and they said, well, Jay, he thought that. He figured that, since, he pretty much did the same thing with, Biggie's album on the first one. That's how he made the story.
Yeah.
He figured that Diddy could do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, and even, when I think of Biggie's second album, American Gangster kind of reminded me of joints like Pray for My Downfall, and, you're nobody till somebody kills. It had that whole vibe, almost the whole way through. That was a dope album.
Yeah, and then, even JD was on it too.
Oh, yeah, that's right, he was.
Yeah, he helped make I think the one with Nas, and I think one other track that I can't think of right now. But yeah, it's a very smart move from Jay-Z thinking about it. I'm kind of. Who's that?
I said, yeah, he needs to do it again.
Yeah, I don't want to see that happening. As you can obviously, based on that Tom Ford shit, he's going deeper into EDM.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not pressed on a new Jay-Z album, I guess. Unless it's some type of crazy collaborative effort. I could do another Watch the Throne album.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's never going to happen.
It's interesting now. You see, Kanye West and Dame Dash are in business together again.
What are they doing?
They put out the Losadas movie together, and I think they're buying Karmaloop together.
I wonder how Jay feels about this, but.
Yeah, what's his name? Dame Dash, basically accuses Jay-Z of hanging around snitches on his Sway interview. So, I don't know. It it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But, you know, Kanye's his own man. He's going to do his own thing, so.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I guess, I guess there really isn't going to be a Watch the Throne 2 coming out. I'm surprised the first one that even came out for real to this day. And but you know, it's interesting though, because you can even tell, like, that based on the way it sold, it was really just an album for like music connoisseurs for the most part, kind of sort of.
Yeah, I mean, I still find myself going back to it like that. To me, I mean, that was a dope ass record.
I mean, well, it had its joints. I mean, even I don't know. I mean, it was like the production on it was like really interesting and intricate to a certain extent. Like even like, you know, Ham.
Oh yeah. That was
a pretty intricate beat if you think about it. The way, you know, Kanye put like all the other shit on top of that trap beat the way he did.
Yeah, that was pretty intricate. And then too, like it had the intricate parts, and then it had the stripped down parts, like Otis.
Yeah.
And then that song that RZA produced was dope. That was like one of Kanye's best verses ever.
Yeah, and then the bonus track with Pete Rock on it.
Oh yeah, The Joy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a dope record too. And then, Pete Rock, I think on the one I've seen, he said that was an old beat.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and but I remember that song. That was one of the Good Friday joints. That Good Friday period was such an exciting time. Like you just knew that Friday you gonna get something crazy.
Man, I'm so upset about Devil in a New Dress to this day.
Oh yeah.
He really should have kept it the way it was and just mixed it down a bit better and called it a day. Cause like Rick Ross really didn't need to be on there. That guitar riff that goes on for like 3 minutes doesn't need to be on there. To me, at least.
He's Kanye. Remember back around that time? That's when that Rick Ross album came out. That third one, I can't think of the name right now, but it was the one, you know. That was a dope ass album, that Rick Ross album. The one that had MC Hammer had BMF on it.
That wasn't Trill, right? No, Trilla?
No, that wasn't Trilla. It was the one after that. It was Port Miami, then it was Trilla, then it was what was that album? I just remember that album had a lot of dope records, and it made me actually go back and listen to some other Rick Ross, and you know, it's not too bad. I just pulled up Rick Ross on Spotify. I forgot all about his Hood Billionaire album, which I've yet to really listen to, because he came out with Mastermind and Hood Billionaire last year. Damn, yeah, God Forgives I Don't. I forgot about that too.
Yeah,
Epsilon Dawn, that's what the album was called.
Okay, yeah, he shouldn't have did that. Yeah. Those two albums in the same year. I think he was doing too much. Yeah, I think the difference if you're like coming out with platinum albums, but if you're coming out with you know, if all your albums go gold, then I don't think if you come out with two albums, you're going to do the same shit.
Yeah, struggling to go gold.
Yeah.
I mean, and then that moving bass song, I wasn't really messing with that beat. I guess that was the single from it. Oh, that's right, yeah, the single R. Kelly. He got a joint, a little Boosie on there. He got, I guess that was his more trap. Well, Mastermind was supposed to be the more Teflon Donish one, and Hood Billionaire was more his trap mixtape type one. And I guess instead of putting it out as a mixtape, he was like, I'm gonna just put it out as an album.
Yeah, I mean, well, it seems like there wasn't a lot of promotion for both of the albums put together, so maybe the label made money off of it anyway. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they did it anyway.
Oh, that's right. The God Forgives I Don't had that song with Dr. Dre, Jay-Z, and Rick Ross. That's right, and he had a joint with Andre 3000 on there.
I mean, shit, a lot of hip-hop heads, they fuck with Rick Ross. They say he's really lyrical. I don't exactly see the caliber of lyricism that everyone tends to talk about. I mean, but I know he's a good rapper though, but I think it's more he's a good chooser of beats, I think.
Yeah, that sounding good on the beats and saying something that, might resonate with you a certain type of way sometimes.
Yeah, but I mean, if I had to pick, I think his best album to me would probably be Triller.
Let me go look. Triller, 15 songs that came out in 2008. Oh man, that had that annoying ass song. The bus.
You gotta put some context. I mean, this is like right in the heat of battle with him and 50 Cent.
Oh yeah, that's true. DJ Khaled. That's right. That had the first Maybach music song on there.
Okay.
Him and Jay-Z. Oh man, Street X. I remember that song.
I always get Maybach music, the song mixed up with the yacht music.
Oh man, that was a dope record. That was off that DJ Drama album.
Yeah, Nas, Willie the Kid, and I think Rick Ross, right?
Was Rick Ross on there?
Yeah, boy, it sounds like something you'd be on.
Yeah, it did. And Willie the Kid, he held his own with Nas.
I see. Well, I'm upset with Willie the Kid right now, man. That fucking Fly 3. Hey, listen to it yet?
Nah, I haven't.
I mean, he's kind of like, see, this is what I always said about Willie the Kid, because, even on like certain cuts that he did with a lot of Dark Man, he really can't rap on those type of like trap type of beats, but Willie the Kid can. And it seemed like to me personally, he really tried to do it on the Fly 3, but it didn't work for him because he kind of dumbed himself down to a certain extent, and he wasn't as witty as he can be. So I was really disappointed with this album. Yeah, so I don't know what to say about him.
Willie the Kid, I want to see him do well, and hopefully he comes with something that's going to, capture a bigger audience, because I think he deserves it. And sometimes I wonder, like, what makes certain people get picked over others in this internet world? Like, why do some people who are dope and put out tons of dope content, it just seems like they just get overlooked? Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about Willie the Kid. I mean, if you think about it, obviously it seems like he has other things that he does other than music. And, whenever, it seems like when he releases an album, he just comes out with it, and eventually he just like, just walks away from it and then just disappears for like a good minute, and then he comes back out with something new. Yeah, I think in that long Willie the Kid interview I sent you, I never finished it. Yeah, me. But I guess he's overseas touring and stuff, and I guess as an artist, you gotta keep food on the table and you gotta keep your name out there by performing and stuff like that. And I guess it comes down to, the balance between, touring and recording. Well, you gotta remember that he was a master's student too. Oh, that's right, he was. So where's he getting that money from? Either he's living off of an advance, or a lot of Dark Man is giving him money based on some illegal shit, or I don't know. See, there you go, making assumptions based on race. Oh yeah, maybe. I don't know. Listen to those 2 J Love mixtapes that he came out with. I remember during the height of that whole AMG split up type thing, when people were people were coming at a lot of Dark Man, and they're talking about how you know, on all those gangster grills, DJ Drama would put his whack ass homeboy on, you know, the person's song and fuck it up. And a lot of times on the no DJ version, they would take him off. I think they're mostly talking about that Fabulous mixtape where he was on there. And then on the no DJ version, they took him off. And I have a homeboy who just cannot stand Loud and Dark, man. He was so happy when they took him off. And he was kind of like rubbing it in my face.
Oh, damn.
But
I mean, he obviously can't rap on fucking those type of beats.
Yeah. I don't know. I wonder if he'll ever put out another album. I mean, that Haste of the Century did pretty well. That was a dope album.
I mean, yeah. He's like the Black Lil White. To a certain extent, but he does not really capitalize off. Well, I guess in a way he kind of did. I mean, yeah, I'm assuming he did make money off the AMG Gangsta Grills thing, but
yeah.
So did I tell you about my Lil White story? I think I did.
Oh yeah, about the dude. He ran into somebody.
I mean, no.
Somebody was listening to Lil White or something like that.
Oh well, we were here, and he started singing after we had like a conversation about pills, and he just started randomly singing, and then I started, singing with him and shit.
Oh yeah.
So I saw him earlier, and he told someone else about it, and so she's supposedly, I guess today she's going to sing it to me when she sees me. Yeah. Apparently white people love Lil White.
I wonder what he's doing now. I wonder if he's gonna whiten up his act. Start singing country music one day.
I don't know. I mean, he came out with a mixtape recently, I believe. I've never listened to him though, but I've been meaning to.
Oh man, Lil White, No 6 Days. He got a bunch of stuff in 2014.
Yeah, he was rather busy, but I mean, I know he tours all throughout, I guess, the south of the country, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Hey, did you know that that Roland came out with a new 808? Like, I think it was last year or something like that. I think it was last year or the year before last, but apparently it's what they did was they mixed the 808 and the 909 together. And it's I think I watched 2 videos of it, and it sounds technically for real, it sounds like a 909 and the 808 together, like how you would think it sounds. And I'm pretty sure between you and me, we both probably played with trying to mix 909 and 808s together.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's 2015, and if you're trying to, why are you just, it seems like they're just trying to capitalize off the popularity of the name and trying to sell you a box.
I mean, well, yeah, but I will say that it does sound kind of different. It sounds, the thing about the 808 to me is that I have a problem with the 808. Sometimes it sounds kind of cheesy. Kind of. And I think they cleaned the sound up a bit on this box.
I guess you have to, yeah, I mean, I don't know, like all that stuff, I apply a lot of EQ to kind of shape the sound a little bit. So maybe this one you don't have to do as much with it. But I don't know, you can, now, you can make your own waveforms and make your own drums and stuff like that. So I don't know how I feel about that. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Yeah, I had it on my list of things to bring up because I think if you think about it, having these new drum machines come out,
why are they coming out? Because you don't really need them anymore. And, well, these things are coming out. You do have, like, certain people who still complain about, well, they never really complain about reason, but they complain about Fruit Loops. So, sometimes in these podcasts, you hear about someone just shitting on Fruit Loops. And it kind of disturbs me because although I understand where they're coming from, but I don't know if they should blatantly just come out and say certain things like that, because there are people who actually use it, who can use it. And if you think about it, certain genres of music have been either extended, expanded, or whatever like that, or made based on Fruit Loops.
Yeah, and another thing too is like you get into when hip hop first started and they first started using drum machines, the older people from other genres of music would come at them for that and not using real instruments and stuff like that, quote unquote real instruments. So it's like you're doing the same thing to other people.
This call is now being recorded.
Okay, so we had a little bit of a technical difficulty, but we back in the building now. So what I was saying was, whatever instrument you use, it's all in the mind of the person who's using it. So, I guess if you want to use a new 808, go right ahead. It's funny because I was in Guitar Center earlier today, and I haven't been there in so long. I was just looking at all the equipment and getting back into that mind frame of, studio building and what I want to get and that type of thing. And I don't know. I think, where it is now is just getting a dope MIDI controller. And I was looking at the MPK joints from Akai. And they got the joint, they had the one that I really want. It's it's not the MPD. It's like an MPK 149 or 249, something like that, where it's the keyboard and it has the MPC pads on it, and then it has a bunch of extra faders and stuff to control, your software. And I wanted that for such a long time.
I think I was looking at I was looking at that at something similar, if not the same thing. Because I want to expand, but where I'm at right now, I don't want to really buy anything like mad bulky, or like I really don't want to buy shit at all for real while I'm here, because this is another element to the Canada story, which not fits into another reason why I want to go. So I have like a lot of pretty much, a lot of Ivy League school people and stuff like that, just talking to them, how their program is and stuff like that. I thought that it was like a thing, and like pretty much all graduate schools that, that you have to pay your school fee. But no, it's not like that. It's just like that here, and it's something that they recently changed maybe about 4 years ago. Because usually when you get like, an assistantship or whatever like that, you don't pay anything. You don't pay nothing. So instead of me paying $2,000 a year or whatever like that, I want to go somewhere else. Because this shit ain't cool. This is not cool. And, I'm sitting up here, I didn't get like any type of reimbursement deal when I went to Canada. These niggas, they had fucking allowances for food, travel, shit like that. And either tomorrow or sometime this week, I gotta go to the department to see the chair of the department and try to beg him for some money so I can get something back. So yeah, I'm not liking the system. I want to go somewhere else.
You thinking a school outside of the U.S. maybe?
Nah. What's funny is that I was talking to my mother maybe some weeks ago about when our mothers went to London. And she said after a while she got kind of homesick and she wanted to come home. And although I was only away in Canada for a short time, But although I felt like I had to remind myself sometimes I was in Canada, but there were certain things that kind of annoyed me about being in Canada, and I was like, God damn, I wish I was back in the States. And one of the main things was, like when you go to like a different country, like your phone plan changes. So, I know like I think the majority of people, although it's funny, they had plans, but they couldn't use their phones at all. I'm on a Go phone plan. And, I can still get free text. I can text if I want to. It's like 25 cents, and talking is 15 cents a minute. I can still do it, but it's, it's kind of weird. But I don't have any data at all, so I just can't. So I had to be on a Wi-Fi connection. And sometimes that was kind of annoying. And after a while, seeing like different currency, after a while, it kind of annoying too. I don't know why, but it was something like, God damn, I wish I could see $1 right now. It was weird. I can't explain it, but I can kind of understand where my mother was coming from. Because after a while, I think you just kind of want to be in your own country. Now, I say this only going to Canada. So if I really want to go where I really want to go, I don't know, because I feel like going to Canada was kind of like teasing me, or at least in Winnipeg. Because, they all speak English, So I don't know how I would feel if I went, to Germany or, Japan or something like that. Maybe it'll be a bit different. I'm not sure. But then also, maybe a lot of this harkens back to the fact that, I want to go home this summer. And maybe, to Baltimore this summer. And, I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Damn.
Because like listening to other people, in Canada, this one guy, he's from Amsterdam and stuff like that. A lot of these people, they don't get to go home like that for real. They really go through it. And even here, people who are from the States, they don't get to go back to their state like that, to their hometown, and they kind of fucked up, man. They're in the same country.
Yeah, I had a lot of friends from California who never got to go back home.
I can imagine how it feels, I haven't gotten that way yet, but sometimes I'm just like, I think it's really more or less like the freedom of knowing I can go home whenever I feel like it. Man, but it's not really like that. So I can understand where certain people are coming from. Something about going home for like a little bit, even if it's only like 2 days.
I don't know, man. I haven't traveled very far in my life, but I've been away from here for a long period of time, and even when I was younger, like I used to go to New York. I guess New York was kind of home too, because I was there, my father was there, and everything. But I never felt homesick. Like I never wanted to come back here. Like, I don't know why that was or is or whatever. And then even when I was in D.C., I guess the closest I got to feeling homesick was sometimes when I came back and I would be driving down 83 and I would see the lights of downtown, and it would just make me feel happy and nostalgic. Or like, if I go to the hood for a little while and chill out, it would be different because, if I wasn't in the hood for a long time, but then when you're here and you're just in the hood for a long time, then you're just like, I got to get the fuck out and never come back.
Yeah, I think like with you, since you were like, type of hip-hop circles, you still had like that certain element that you needed, I guess. Oh, yeah. To kind of feed off of, and so it's like, like here, I think the main thing, like I've told my mother this like a while ago. It's kind of weird, I go outside, see these lush trees. It's quiet. I think the landlady. I think if I recall, I think she did like a job in like a little garden here, so we had like some new plants and shit. They all nice and springy and shit. And you know, you go outside, smoke cigars, all quiet. You see some people riding around on a bike, being happy. You know, you see cats. They're not stray cats. They're like cats that people own, but the neighborhood's so safe that they freely let their cats roam, and the cats kind of have this weird connection with all of each other. They all play with. It's weird as shit. And I think the main thing, like one time I was on the porch, you know, talking, and a dog was like just walking down the street, and I'm like, fuck, it's a dog. The dog, he looks at me, I'm like, fuck, it's gonna come up to me. And the dog comes up on the porch, I'm thinking it's probably gonna attack me or something, but the dog just starts licking me. And you know, and the dog's well groomed and everything like that, and you know, there's someone, you know, dog, you know, he hugs me and shit, and then he just walks off and, you know, goes somewhere else. And you know, in Baltimore, you know, if you see a fucking dog, stray dog, you know, you gotta go in the house, some shit like that. The dog probably has one leg, fucking iPad, shit like that, or whatever like that.
Yeah, or like the dog is some type of pit bull that lost a fight, so the owner just let it go. Just running around wild, just looking for trouble, for beef.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just certain elements that, like, you know, just being this type of element I'm not used to and kind of disturbs me. Like, you know, for real, sometimes when I go on the porch, I'm just like, God damn, like, I'm so used to you know, to like seeing niggas on the corner up to no good that it sounds really bad, but I'm so used to it that it disturbs me when I'm not around it. So sometimes,
go ahead.
Yeah, it's just certain elements that sometimes, you know, I just miss, and I guess, being able to travel, thankfully, I guess, you know, it's catapulted me in the various circles that I'm not used to, which is good, but then sometimes it's like, you know, goddamn.
I think what you're experiencing is kind of reminding me of you know, The Walking Dead, what's going on now, and you know, the crew, you know, they've been out in the wild for a long time, you know, dealing with zombies and going from place to place, and they hadn't really found a safe place where they can just kind of chill. So long story short, they finally get to this place where they can kind of chill, and the people who are living in there, they haven't really experienced the outside world and the zombies and what it's like out there, and so it's kind of like how you described it. It's very calm, it's very peaceful, ain't nothing really going on. People are just living their lives regular. And various people who are in, you know, the protagonist crew, they are like, you know, this isn't right. You know, I'm going to lose my edge if I stay here around these people for too long. You know, they're kind of out of their element. And some of them, you know, have been going, just taking trips back into the wild, just killing zombies just because that's what they're used to. And they just can't take that sense of peace. So that's kind of what you just said kind of reminded me of. But I don't know. I've always felt, I don't know, I just always try to enjoy the moment that I'm in and where I'm at. I guess, you know, it's kind of like a Buddhist type of thing, but you know, I just try to experience where I'm at because I try not to get caught up in places where I'm not, and I guess that's what kind of keeps those feelings away. Of course, that's as long as I have certain things that I need to have with me, you know?
Yeah, it's, you know, because, like, the way I kind of, like, cope with it, you know, I think about the times when, you know, you're just stuck in Baltimore, you know, it's the same shit over and over and over again every day.
Yeah.
And you're just like, God damn, like, you know, you just need a break from shit. And then we get it.
The same streets, the same everything. I'm to the point now where, like, I see the same homeless people.
Oh, yeah, man, yeah, that's...
And then, And then it's not even that I see the same homeless people in the same place. I see the same homeless people in different places.
Yeah.
Like, the other day I went to Subway and I'm eating my sandwich and a homeless dude walks in and I'm like, I know him. And he walks into the bathroom, and matter of fact, me and my mother, we were sitting in there. So the homeless guy walks in, and he just goes into the bathroom, and the whole time, me and my mother sitting in the Subway and leave, the homeless dude never came out.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him again Friday, this past Friday, standing out in his normal spot. And like, it's another homeless lady, she's up and down Northern Parkway and Park Heights. I'm just like, I don't know, it just wears on me sometimes, like, and then like, I guess, there's that side of it, and then, today I was in, a more diverse area. Matter of fact, this is a dope, thrift store that, me and my girl found on Joppa Road, so I'm in there, I'm checking out the book section. And the books, I go to the religion and spirituality section, and like I went to the religion and spirituality at Goodwill the other day, the one in Owens Mills, and they had like all these books about Buddhism and various religions and stuff like that. And then I went to the religion and spirituality section at the book thing like 2 weeks ago, and they had all these different types of books about various things. This one, it was straight Christianity. And then, even more so than that, they had these books from, Anne Couture, or however you say her name, and it was just like...
Anne Coulter, I think Coulter, I believe.
Yeah, Coulter, and I actually bought one of them. It's like something about godless liberalism and stuff like that. And then I go to the political section, and this is super conservative books, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the racism. And I'm just looking at the books in the area that I'm at, and I'm like, if these are the books in this area, then what's the mind state of the people in this area? And, there were all these books trashing Obama that I never even knew came out. Like, oh man, I wish I could remember some of the titles. One of them, it was called Black something. Blacklash.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was this big black hardback book. It was called Blacklash, and then like the subtitle was something about like how Obama and liberalism are trying to push people into, how Obama and the left are driving Americans to slavery. My bad. Driving Americans to the government plantation.
It's amazing to me how fast these motherfuckers can come up with books. On both sides, on certain things.
Yeah, Anne Coulter has so many books. I was looking, Sean Hannity has so many books, and this is just at the thrift store.
Yeah. But on the liberal side, I read some articles. Chuck Todd, he used to do the Daily Rundown.
Yeah.
He does what's it called now? The shit on Sundays.
Meet the Press.
Yeah, he does Meet the Press now.
Yeah.
I think his last book, it was about Obama, and supposedly he's like trashing the shit out of Obama and his policies in it. And it's pretty interesting coming from MSNBC, and how liberal they are. So I wonder. Yeah,
they just jump at whatever Obama does.
Yeah, man. I think I guess it really just goes into the whole idea of balance. In your environment. I don't really, sometimes it's even weird, like not walking around without like some type of weapon. Weird as shit. And it fucks with me sometimes. And I just being on the lookout for something. Although I am, but it's just not the same type of being on the lookout for something,
I mean, it's like you're in an environment where people want to look out for you.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to be on the lookout for yourself, because you have to constantly think about your mannerisms and your way of whatever and how other people are perceiving it, because they're already going to perceive your blackness a certain type of way.
Well, nowadays I'm more free with this shit now. I don't care as much. Because, every day, before I go to bed or something like that, I sit down and I just kind of space out and just think about, there's usually one thing I want to think about, or I just reflect on my day. And I've been doing this since maybe sophomore year of my undergraduate career. Just thinking about something that maybe, something that I feel like I fucked up on, during my day, even if it was like, fucking up, trying to talk to a girl or something like that. And, things that I could do to make myself better overall. And lately it's been on, do I want to get a PhD or not? And so I think for the past 3-4 months this is what I've been like reflecting on, like the pros and cons of it, so and so, whatever. When it, what were we talking about again?
Your environment and balance.
Right. Yeah. So. Right. So not giving a fuck. So I guess in between all of that, I was thinking about the way I work, how hard I work, and sometimes you just can't have these people cloud the perceptions that linger within our society on certain things. You just can't have it cloud your shit because you just work too hard for it. You just can't have it.
Yeah.
And so sometimes I walk into certain places. I'm a fucking black man. I have this hair, but I bet you I know more than you do about certain things. I mean, sometimes that's how I feel. I walk in that bitch and just show them. I mean, for real. Cause sometimes, like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Cause even if you don't do it, they still want to see you as the same thing. For example, like the day after that SAE shit came out, we had a teaching, and we had like these big name professors that came here, whatever like that. And I went there to see one professor in particular. I walk up in there. I'm about to get a seat or whatever. I have a book bag in my hand, dude. And this old white man comes up to me. He's asking me where the bathroom was. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, I don't know where the bathroom is. He's like, okay, you don't work here, huh? I'm like, no, I don't fucking work here. He's like, okay. And I did say fucking. And so pretty much this nigga thought he thought I was like a janitor or some shit. So yeah, I just can't take this shit no more, man. Sometimes, it's crazy.
I think you need to see that movie. I think you need to see that movie Get Hard. Because I guess it kind of puts a comedic spin on that type of thing. Like, basically when the rich white man thought he was going to jail, and he's talking to, the middle class, but, still struggling black man was trying to get, move to the next level. And, the white man is going to jail, so he needs tips. So he automatically assumes that the black man, Kevin Hart, has been in jail. And so he's like, how do you know that I've been to jail? And he says, well, statistically speaking, you know, you being African American, you know, 1/3 of you guys, you know, go to prison. And he said, let me break it down for you. Imagine a pizza, a black pizza, and you slice it in 3 parts, and you take one of those slices and you put it in jail. So it's like, one, you're assuming that he has been to jail because he's black, and 2, and that he lives a certain type of life, and 2, and you know, there were other instances of this type of thing, but this is like the big one that kind of stuck out to me. And then 2, you're assuming that he doesn't understand what you're saying. And it's kind of like, and they did it in a funny way, but it was very real because, you know, you walk around, and especially in a place like that, where there isn't much diversity, you know, people automatically assume all these things about you, and you just have no control over it.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try to find a movie somehow, some way.
Yeah, I see that it's up. There's a cam version on Boxton.
Alright, yeah. I'll probably wait for a or TC or something like that.
Yeah.
TS first call it. But yeah, that fruit that I mean the free loop shit is kind of that shit kind of bugs me. I don't know. I mean, I don't think. I mean, I guess eventually it will change because I mean, there's only so much hardware you can come out with, and then you know by the time you know technology is still advancing, so there wouldn't be much of a point in having a whole bunch of hardware compared to just having everything you know software.
Yeah, I think the hardware now is more used for mastering and things like that. And I guess it depends on what you're doing, because of course you do need hardware. I mean, you do need microphones. You know, you might you might want a nice outboard compressor and stuff like that. But you know, at the end of the day, and I guess this is like the whole argument. Everything is going to digital at the end of the day. So you know, and of course there's all kind of arguments and stuff like that for and against. You know, doing as much analog as possible as you can before you go to digital and all that type of stuff. I think my thing that I want to start doing though is doing something and then running it through a tape, kind of hot, and then recording it back to digital. I think that might make some type of difference in warmth and everything like that. So, cause I think DJ Quick was talking about he did that with the My Nigga song, the YG joint.
Yeah, I did it through certain songs on the secret order, and I went back and listened to it some days ago, and I can notice the difference between certain beats that I put through a tape compared to the ones I didn't. Like you know, even like kind of like even though the bass like it wasn't the way I really wanted it to be, like mixed wise, but the bass even had like a more of a warmer feeling compared to the other things that did have bass in it. So, I mean, yeah, I can totally see why people do it. I mean, because I always felt that way anyway about tapes. You know, there's still like certain. I had a conversation about tapes. The other day, last weekend, actually, about tapes. Like, you know, certain people, they just don't like the sound of tapes, period.
I think the thing that used to always bother me about it was the hiss when I was younger, but I guess now I appreciate it.
I mean, well, see, that's the thing. I mean, I know with me, I know tapes, for me, it's much more nostalgic than it is, you know, more of a technique. But the thing is, though, you know, if you think about it, when you're talking to someone outside, you're going to hear different sounds. You know, you're not just hearing someone's voice. You're hearing birds chirping, someone arguing, some shit like that, people yelling, cars going by. And if you want to be technical, that's some type of pitch. You're probably going to hear whatever you want to call it, background noise.
Yeah.
And the shit is just real. I think that's why MIA's album worked the way it did, the way it was mixed, because she recorded outside a lot of times for certain songs.
That's dope. I think when I get money, I'm gonna have an outside studio.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Like, I mean, that fucking Red Bull Music Academy interview that she did talking about that shit. You know, they get like 2 big ass speakers, put them outside or whatever like that. She had a microphone, and she just, you know, performing outside like in a field or wherever she was performing at. And you can just hear it because you like her, like you can just hear like it was like a certain vibe that the shit had, just based on, I guess, the collection of sounds in the different areas she was at all over the world. And I think that's what really added that certain flavor to her album too.
I gotta go back and I gotta revisit some more of her music again. If I have it all.
Yeah, see, I had a conversation about MIA too in Canada with someone, and you know, I think because usually albums, you know, people like her first and second album, and that no one really cares about her after that. And you know, he told me she had a problem with the third one, and I guess the fourth one too. She said to a certain extent, but she never like listened all the way through.
Well, I don't remember. It was a while ago when we sat and we listened to the third one.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you kind of showed me the light. I was like, yeah, this is pretty dope. I see what she's saying.
I mean, like, even the third joint, Tequila, and like the background on like the beat. Well, at least like the genre. I can't think of like the certain genre that Diplo. What was it? I think it was Diplo. The type of genre it was based on. I can't think of that shit. But I mean, just the way it was made is fucking genius to me. I mean, yeah, even like that, the Born Free joint.
Yeah.
Although personally, I could never mess with that love song or the one that had Jay-Z on the remix.
I like that song, XOXO.
Yeah, it's something I couldn't really get with, but I mean everything else was. On the third one, Tequila, the remix that had Nicki Minaj on it was cool.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking now, you know, it being the 10th anniversary of The Becoming, you know, it'll be the 10th anniversary of her album soon.
Oh yeah, 2005.
Yeah.
God damn, man. I mean, it's kind of weird if you think about it because The Becoming and her first album, her second album, I was still in the apartment when that shit came out. Crazy.
I remember we first heard her at the Ice Hookah Lounge. You know, it's not there anymore?
Yeah, I heard, someone told me that it wasn't there anymore.
But did we drive past and see it? Was it not there last time you were here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Now I wonder if it moved or it's just no more.
That's a good question. That used to be the spot.
Yeah, I mean, although I would assume that maybe they lost a lot of business after people started buying their own hookahs.
Yeah.
That's what everyone talks about nowadays.
Yeah, the website is still up. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. I mean, like, one of my coworkers, well, I'm assuming she's still one of my coworkers back in Baltimore, like, every Friday was like a thing of her, like, to sit around and smoke a hookah at night. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Gotta find a new hookah spot. Are there any hookah spots down in Norman?
I think there is. There was a smoke spot that like recently closed down like 2 weeks ago, like a month ago now. They sold hookahs in there, but I think there is some place that does you can smoke hookah in. I just don't know where. But you know, like a lot of bars, there are like 2 or 3 bars here where you can smoke in.
Oh.
Yeah, like actual like bars / restaurants and shit. It's rather interesting. But
nice dark corner.
Oh yeah, I've only been in one of them once. And I smoked the pipe in there. It was cool, but you know, like sometimes the cigarette smoke gets kind of annoying after a while. All that cigarette smoke like that. Although it was kind of like a nice it had a nice nostalgic feeling to it since I'm pretty used to being around a whole bunch of cigarette smoke anyway. So I didn't really exactly mind it, but sometimes it's like, alright. Shit.
Yeah, this was good. I remember in D.C. when I used to perform at the Island Cafe. I used to be smoking in there. I used to come back smelling like crazy cigarette smoke. I used to have to wash my clothes. I used to have a jacket that I just wore there.
Oh, damn.
So you
like literally a smoke jacket.
Yeah. That shit was real.
Yeah.
Legal too.
Oh, you say it was illegal?
I believe so. Smoking inside of a establishment.
Mm-hmm. You know what's interesting? About like they talk about pills and shit. I had to talk with like one of the guys in Winnipeg. We were just talking about like the drugs, so like drugs we've done or whatever like that. And you know, he was telling me about his experience with like LSD and like shrooms and shit like that. And I told him about me like popping pills every so often. Way back when, and I told him that sometimes when I'm just sitting around or whatever like that, I'm just like, damn, I could really go for like a pill right now or some shit like that. And he told me he feels the same way. He feels the same way at times too. So I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. Like that. The Generation RX joint that Danny Brown did some years ago. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's like the biggest song of that year. Like what 2013, whatever it was, 2012. It just resonates to this day.
Good old Danny Brown.
Yes, yeah. I think his album is gonna be a monster whenever it comes out.
Hopefully. I mean, the last one was, it was alright.
I mean, I fuck with it for the most part.
I guess I gotta go back and listen to it again. Because sometimes when you listen to music, you gotta be like in the right mood for that type of thing.
I mean, well, yeah, because I was kind of embarrassed when I pretty much trashed that album. When we were all listening to it at that time.
Yeah.
Because I just couldn't get with that shit. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? And I think the main one I was against was Dick. And then I had that shit on my playlist on Google Play, and I just play that shit back to back. That shit's crazy.
I haven't revisited that song. Maybe I should go and do that.
Cause even his single shit, it just works like $25. I mean, it's like a real song, but he's still kind of lyrical in a way with it. And I mean, he still has like the same type. I think that's the main thing about singles with me is that when someone makes a single, they tend to lose their voice, or they don't have the same type of voice texture, but he pretty much does throughout the whole thing. Yeah. So have you given like Ghostface's album another listen yet?
I've been meaning to. I haven't done that either. I was just looking at it too.
I mean, I think that album can be nominated for like one of the songs can be nominated for like best rap performance or something like that. On a Grammy. Like that. The album, I think that album is like what he intended to do with the last one he came up with. It's lush but grimy at the same time.
Yeah, I wonder what he's going to do next. Like, is this the way his career is going to go from now on, or is he going to switch it up or come out with a more traditional type of Ghostface album? Or?
Well, I'm assuming the Doom album is going to come out. I'm hoping he doesn't do this band shit anymore. I mean, it's cool, but alright, we get it.
Yeah.
But the joint with that has what's his name? Elzai. Elzai wrote that song.
I mean, Elzai, man, he's one of the most fucked-on dudes, and I always had to go back to his Elmatic album.
I mean, there's something about this redoing someone's whole album over like that. It kind of annoys me.
Yeah, I don't know, that one though. I don't know, that one to me was so well done, and you know the fact that he had the band replay it and all of that, like, and you know he got his props from him. I'm surprised Nas didn't try to sign him.
I'm actually thinking about it. I wonder if that's like the reason why Ghostface got him on the album.
Yeah, it might be, and I'm trying to see. I'm looking through now. I'm trying to see what band he got to play. Oh, Will Sessions.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
to do that.
So yeah, speaking of that, have you heard of the podcast called Sound Exploder?
Nah.
Yeah, so on point with Tom Ashbrook.
Is it an NPR joint?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I downloaded some episodes for the plane, and there was one on like the golden age of podcasting, and so, they had like someone from Slate and some other guy from whatever he's doing, and, they talk about their favorite podcast, and of course, Serial was like the primary one they really based the whole conversation around. And I think I'm going to try to listen to it sooner or later, I think. Especially since you said it was so good.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for the next one. Another podcast I've been meaning to get into, which is it's another one of those NPR type joints, and the first season is over. It's called Invisibilia.
Oh yeah, they what they did was they thought they played it like live or whatever like that on the radio. Yeah, I would sometimes listen to it when I would like live stream WYPR. But I never really got into it like that. But actually after listening to Tom Ashbrook, they played a clip from this episode when they're talking about this woman who can't feel fear. So I want to find that episode if anything. But yeah, so Sound Exploder, like the guy, he said it's one of his favorite podcasts, and it's about this guy. He pretty much talks with like someone about the breakdown of a beat or a song that they made. And so the clip they played was for I guess it was maybe it was Will Sessions or whoever it was on a Ghostface song and how they decided to make the beat.
I gotta check it out. Sound Exploder. I'm about to make a note of that. Sound Exploder.
Yeah. I subscribed to it this morning. I haven't listened to anything though yet.
This podcasting game is getting kind of like it's a lot of them I gotta catch up on. Like this is one called Startup, which is about this guy. Yeah,
talk about that too. Yeah. I had that on my list.
Yeah, that's been on my list for a long time because I listened to Ice-T's podcast here and there, and he interviewed the guy who is doing it, and it sounded really interesting. And I listened to a couple. I think I listened to a couple episodes, like the first one, but I wanted to kind of see where that's going. And Twitter started off as a podcast app that didn't pop off, so they took the messaging part of it and turned that into Twitter.
Oh well, I had no idea.
Yeah. So
I mean,
this thing is popping off.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think we're at the right moment to come out with
so the first episode is up for people who want to listen. It's up on the website. I don't know if you saw how it is now. The website is real basic. I gotta figure out how to get with the theme that I put on there. I gotta figure out how to get the top banner across it. Once it's on, I think once iTunes accepts it, then I'll put the second one up, and then I'll put everything on YouTube, SoundCloud, I guess Daily Motion, and all of the different places where it can go. And I'll start sending out emails, and hopefully people will post it.
All right. Well, did you make a post of all the other things, like I guess the list, I guess the reading list for the show, or listening list, or whatever you want to call it?
I have not done that yet. I put the it took me so long to figure out the whole thing was getting it submitted to iTunes, and because it's being hosted off of the the GoDaddy hosting, and apparently you have to pay $25 a month for a virtual private server in order for the RSS feed to be in a format to where iTunes will accept it. So I figured out if I just put the feed through FeedBurner, it'll be fine for iTunes, and it took me like days to figure that out. But on the how you think we should do it? I guess put it on the post of the episode.
Let's see, like either that or like how, let's say, like how like Rachel Maddow does with her blog, and or NPR people. They put up like a reading list like a day before or so, before you come out with the episode or whatever like that.
Okay.
So either that.
I think for the first one, what I'll do is put it on the post that's already there, and I've been taking notes of different things that we've been talking about, so I can put that up in preparation for this episode.
Okay, I can do something here.
I can send you the list. I can send you the list because you have all the login information. I can send you the list, and you can put that together and then make a post for that. And then once, hopefully, iTunes doesn't take too long to review the podcast and accept it. And then once that happens, we just try to get as many subscribers and stuff as possible and get this thing cracking.
Right, because I put out all the information for the first one into the Google Doc that has all the log information.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
So I'll just do something with that. It should be fun.
That's what it is. Well, I think it's about that time to call it a wrap.
Yeah, it's been about the same length as the last one, right? I think.
Yeah. Let me see. The first part before the call cut off is 180 minutes and 13 seconds, and then this part is 51 minutes.
I think this one is longer.
It may be a little longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one might have to be broken up because I had some trouble. I mean, luckily our sound quality isn't that great to where it has to be in a high quality or well, I'm not going to say high quality, but, you know, a high bit rate and everything like that, so I was able to upload it all. Cause I think the limit to upload for WordPress is 32 megabytes, but, you know, what I could do, cause I didn't upload it from home, but what I could do is just upload it through the FTP and not from the actual WordPress joint and see how that goes, so. But, you know, Joe Rogan's podcasts are like 3 hours long, so.
Yeah, they are. I've tried to listen to one. I can't do because the first, like, 40, 30 minutes is nothing but advertisements. And I'm like, what? And because the thing is, he does it so well that you don't even know that he's advertising.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, there's a couple of them like that. That one and another one I listened to, which is dope. Duncan Trussell Family Hour. I don't know if you listen to that. But he's a good friend of Joe Rogan, and he usually has on like some type of spiritual guru or some type of Buddhist or some type of weird technology thing. And he does his advertisements are so entertaining that I don't mind them at all.
Oh, wow.
Just check out the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. His latest one with Jack Cornfield is real interesting. But yeah, I don't know. One day we'll get some advertisers and we'll be doing the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's very, very true as well.
Yeah, so actually, you know, I would like to advertise Bevel just because I use them.
Oh yeah, I didn't even ask you that. Yeah, so how is Bevel?
Oh man, I mean, I really like it. I mean, I've never shaved my head with the actual razors. It's my first time doing it, but as long as I'm consistent with it, which is, you know, which sometimes I'm not, it's fine. Like, my head is smooth, it's shiny. The actual razor has like a good weight to it, so you don't have to like actually push or do anything. You just put it on your head and it just glides.
No damn.
And the creams that come with it are pretty good. You know, I'm not mad at it at all. Only thing is that, and I've gotten my first shipment of replenishment already. Only thing about it is, you know, the price can be a bit much because it's like $27 a month or something like that. And you get a shipment every 3 months, but they charge you every month so that they don't, you know, hit you with a bigger fee, I guess, all at once.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm definitely giving this. I might put my shipment on hold because since I haven't been consistent with it, I'm probably going to end up with a surplus.
Yeah.
And I don't know what you have to go through to get a Bevel sponsorship, but I do know that, you know, once you sign up for it, you get a referral code so that when you sign other people up, you get a credit to your account. So maybe put the link up in the put the link up on the website. Bootleg Bevel sponsorship. Help me pay for my shaving things so my head will be shiny. It's funny because you know, one of my girlfriend's kids, he said, you know, I don't mean to be rude, but I can see my reflection in your head.
Wow.
So I just took it as a compliment.
Well, I mean, I guess you have to, man, but I don't know, I think we need to maybe be like one of the first podcasts that can get like a liquor sponsor or something like that.
That would be dope.
I don't know how the fuck we would get that, but who knows? Or I don't know, some type of like Afrocentric type shit. Like, you know, like in the email I said that maybe we should try to brand ourselves as like the Afrocentric version of a lot of these hip hop podcasts.
Yeah, that would be dope. I mean, this one in particular, we talked a lot about, you know, racial issues and things of that nature. So, and I mean, yeah, I guess the most Afrocentric thing that I've heard advertised is a Bevel. Also, Nature Box. Nature Box is dope, and I've actually wanted to try Nature Box for a long time. I know they Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne the God and Andrew Schultz. They advertise for them, and they send you, you know,
Yeah, something like that. Shit, I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll figure it out as time goes on.
Yeah, that's one Epstein deal we can do.
Yep. So I guess that's a wrap. Thank you all for listening if you made it this far. If you didn't, it's all good too, because we just hanging out and talking. And thank you for tuning in to Channel 10, channel10.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Tumblr. I gotta set it up so that when it posts on the main website, it posts to everything all at once too, so I have to do all that every time.
Yeah, I remember that shit, yeah.
Follow us on SoundCloud. And what I'm going to do is start, like, from the accounts. Once everything is on iTunes, because I really, all the podcasts, you got to get your subscribers up, especially in the beginning. So, like, once it's up on iTunes, I can put the link up and then start following all the other podcasts and start promoting on social media and,
This is another thing I've been thinking about. Maybe there's some type of way we can kind of integrate vegan rap nerd into all this, because we also talk about vegan stuff too, or healthier alternatives.
That is true. Yeah, that's right.
And we're supposed to do that like a while ago.
Yeah. Maybe next episode we can get into maybe some recipes or some stuff that we've been eating and all that type of good stuff.
Well, yeah. I bought a bottle of liquid aminos. I haven't tried it yet though, but yeah, I'm assuming.
And I went to a hibachi grill for the first time. Matter of fact, my girl, she took me there this morning, and that was pretty cool. And matter of fact, we went to the Indian restaurant yesterday.
Man, yes. Well, you like Indian food, don't you?
Yeah, it's cool. I'm not mad at it. She didn't like it at all, but
yeah. Well, we went to an Indian restaurant in Canada, and that shit was lovely. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot of ground to cover and a lot of different topics and things like that. So yeah. And what's the email address? I guess maybe if people want to hit us up.
Oh, yeah, channel10podcast@gmail.com. Everything Channel 10 podcast. Twitter, I think that's just Channel 10 pod.
Yes, it's Channel 10 pod, yeah.
Podcast was a bit too long, so. But everything else, Channel, the number 10, and podcast. So, and if all else fails, I got to put a link to the email address on the website. I'll probably be messing with that a whole lot tomorrow, so. Alright, and check out veganrapnerd.com too. Veganrapnerd.com, we're about to get that back popping again. I'm trying to think what else. I'm about to work on this club music project. I think I'm going to put it on iTunes and all of that just to see what happens. I was just going to do straight Bandcamp, but I might as well go for the gusto, so. Obviously, there's nothing I want to talk to you about real quick, but that's going to be off there, though. Alright, so. Can you record real quick? Yeah, alright, so we out of here. Peace.